Guys, listen up. As you get older, the best way to continue to look young, exuberant, and vibrant is to continue to take care of your skin. That's why I'm excited to have Tige Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. You heard me talk about them before, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about them because I believe in their products and the positive impact that they have on every man's life. Tige Hanley makes taking care of your skin so easy. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. Every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. Lapeef family, I must admit, skincare wasn't always something I always focused on, but since I started using this system, I've seen improvements in the way my skin looks and feels. And you don't have to take my word for it. They have over 5,000 five-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer, and a PM moisturizer. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tige Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off retail price, the ability to customize your box, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because Tige Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click that first link in the description and you'll get 30% off the first box plus the free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Even though it's too early, as I often say, it's never too late. Click that link and get started today.
Yeah. We in here. What's going on, family? How y'all doing? Welcome to the Trigger Mike Show on the greatest network on YouTube, which is the Lapeef Network. Thank y'all for coming through. It is a payday Friday. I know you could be anywhere in the YouTube streets, but you are here with your boy Trigger Mike once again on the Trigger Mike Show. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, Instagram, all these other platforms you're using. I put out alerts, put out those blurbs. Hey, come chill with me today. It is a good Friday here. We're about to have fun today. Lots of stuff to talk about. So what's going on? Talk to me in the chat. What's going on in these YouTube streets? Turn this light down a little bit. But y'all talk to me, man. How y'all doing? How are y'all doing today? It is Friday. I went and got that fresh chop, as you can see. Yeah. All right, but what's up? It's another scorcher as usual out there. All right, so somebody cutting somebody's grass. They cut my grass this morning. Dudes came in. We cut grass today. You're supposed to cut grass on Wednesdays, but yes, you can cut it today. They're making money out here on the low. I'm not gonna lie, they're making money out here. What's up to everybody? Salute to our viewers nationwide and international. It's a good hot ass summer Friday. I know y'all feeling it. Shout out to everybody that went to work today and got off early. I have about 3 or 4 emails out that I sent around lunch. And I don't know any of you that work out in the private sector, but people do not work after lunch on Friday. Really, they don't work after lunch on any day. People stop returning emails. They'll go cold until the next day. But on Friday, many people are actually gone. Their mind is gone. They've checked out after lunch. So I've sent some emails around lunchtime that I'm sure nobody's going to send back till Monday. All right. Nobody's sending nothing back till Monday. But shout out to everybody that went to work today and got off early. This week I had to battle Houston traffic on I-10, which I don't even think is the worst one. 45 used to be a killer. 59 used to be a killer. All right. But I-10, oh boy. I've been working from home so long, I forgot what that morning grind was like. The toll people probably took $100 out of my account by now. I was like, I don't know who you think about to sit in this traffic. Zoom. But yeah, welcome everybody. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for coming out today. Also, like to give a shout out to the sponsor, Tige Hanley. 30% off along with a free gift. The link is in the description down below. If you look in the description, you will see a link there for you to get that uncomplicated skincare for men. Make sure you go ahead and get that. That is, as it is an excellent skincare product for you men's out there. All right. If you have not, because y'all are notorious for this, we have people watching and only 23 likes. Go ahead and get those likes up right now. If you are watching the Trigger Mike Show, get those likes up. Hit that like button, subscribe. If you can do so, please, I'd appreciate it. I would appreciate it. Damn, everybody's streaming today. It's all good. We're going to rock out. We got one hell of a topic for you today. What else are we talking about? So, yes, please, once again, like, subscribe if you have not, and share this video out to anybody who might have something to say on this topic. This is a topic for men and women to partake in. All right. I know some of my people are in the chat. I'm going to drop the link. Who do we got here today? If you would like to support the show, please do so in the form of super chat. We always appreciate any support that we get in the chat, but monetary support helps to keep this business going. These productions do cost money, and we always appreciate any monetary contribution you can give. I got to tell you, this type of content is what's next. All right. You see all these people on strike. All of these people are on strike. Hollywood people are going up against these billion-dollar corporations, and people are going to need content to watch. You're going to see content slowing down. Netflix content slowing down. Disney Plus slowing down. All right. So everybody's going to need something to watch. You know how we are in this day and age. We need content. We need to be fed. So just know that every contribution that you make goes directly into making this type of content. So you can support your own people via super chat, and I appreciate that. Who we got in the chat today? My man Badass Stain, what's going on? Good afternoon to you. Jill's Chocolate Boutique, how you doing? How are you? April, what's going on? My man Nightish is in the building. What's up? What's up? Quincy, my man, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome. Advanced Perception, what's up? What's up? Man, let's get it in today. We're going to talk a little bit about this topic that I had brought up a little while ago. A little while, meaning a few weeks ago, I had done an IG video called Date Even If You Broke. And, you know, I do things not really to trigger people, but I wanted that to bring up some discussion because I don't think anybody can prove me wrong on that. One of the things that I really detest that we do out here in these streets is we tell young people not to date, or more specifically, young men not to date. Find your purpose, which all of things I can agree with. But for the life of me, I cannot realize that more of us don't realize that we're giving bad advice. I think y'all need to take a look into my brain or plug something in so I can project the way that I think onto the world, because it's not some super scientific way of thinking. It's actually very basic. Why are we telling men not to date when they're broke? In fact, I'm getting ahead of myself on the episode. I don't want to give y'all all the gems yet. But let me just ask the question because I want to know what the audience thinks. I want to know what the chat thinks about this particular topic because it's a contentious one. I know that y'all hear it out in the streets. I know that people are talking about this and everybody wants to have some kind of input or say so about dating and when you should do it, how you should do it, how much money to spend, where to take her on a first date, where that first date should be, the caliber of dress you should have. It's all bullshit if you ask me. It's all BS. It's what happened when we allowed women's opinion into the dating arena. And that's not even a shot at women. Ask a woman what she wants. She's going to give you the loftiest thing you've ever heard. Right? If you keep letting people add to what's supposed to be standard, pretty much the standard is going to be ridiculous. All right. We need to go back to the way we used to do things. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. The more things change, the more they freaking stay the same. The more things change, the more they stay the same. When you ask people what should be going on a date, or where women should go, or where women like to be taken, they're not going to give you their favorite coffee or tea shop or boba spot, or maybe even a little small pizzeria that sells dollar slices so they can see you in some good light and get to know you. They're going to give you the loftiest, most expensive stuff they can find because you're an idiot for asking. But society always corrects itself, as y'all know. And in this case, it's going to be no different. That's exactly what's going to happen. All right. That's exactly what's going to happen. But what we're going to do really quick, I'm going to drop the link again for those of y'all that want to come up and chat with me about this. What we're going to do really quick is watch the Instagram video that I made to give some context. The link is dropped. So we're going to give some context to this discussion that we're about to have. Let me see. Let me see something. Let me make sure this is the right video. Jill's Chocolate Boutique says, my first, I'm guessing she means her first date, didn't cost any money because it was at church. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we call a win. That is what we call a win. First date in the church. You're going to have to explain to me how that went down, but I'm not against it. I'm not against it. If we're really going to talk about what these situations are for and what we should be doing, we need not put ridiculous stipulations on it. You can have a first date anywhere. Anywhere. If the actual goal is to get to know someone and engage in meaningful conversation about your aspirations, your goals, how many children you plan on having, what you believe the purpose of a relationship is, and how you want to be served, and most importantly, how you're going to serve in a relationship. I don't really see that. In fact, I don't even see that happening at dinner with a slim ass dress on. I'm gonna tell you right now, anytime I've taken a girl out to do something fancy and she's dressed like, I ain't focused on asking none of those good questions anymore because her titties out. I forgot what the hell I was gonna talk about all night because all she seems to wants to do is get, So we've made dating into something that it just degrades the purpose of companionship in the first place. Everything. We've infused money and superficiality into everything, haven't we? Okay, yeah, we sure have. But let's go ahead and watch this video real quick, y'all. This is the date if you're broke video, just to give y'all some context on what our topic is today and what we're going to be talking about. Stay tuned for the video. Please stop telling people they shouldn't be dating if they're broke. I know you think that's good advice. It's the worst advice you can give. Let me prove it to you. Mostly all people are broke in their 20s. And broke is typically defined as after paying all rent and bills, there's typically little money left for frivolous expenditures. So if a man shows the ability to provide himself food and shelter and proves that he is a responsible steward of what he does have, he absolutely should be in the dating market. You see, marriage is a wealth cheat code. There has not been a better example of wealth being created in the middle and upper middle class than a dual income household. And also, for my over 30 people, you'll notice that if you wait that long, you'll feel like somebody pissed in the dating pool. So find your person, marry them, build with them, and you'll be able to sustain through anything while everybody else is out here looking stupid. Telling men not to date because they're broke is something rich men say to poor men just to shit on them, not because it's good advice. All right. Do we got some context? Do we have the context now? What do you think? What are your thoughts? I'll pause. Let me read. Let me know if you agree, if you disagree, because I want y'all to come up and chat with me on this today. Let me know if you agree, disagree, you're indifferent, you want more information, you'd like further clarification. Let me know what you thought about the video. I tried that. I think in detail, I gave you the best description or my thoughts. I gave you my best thoughts on this whole dating while you're broke situation. I gave you my best. And I know what y'all are thinking. I already know what some of y'all are going to say. I already know. But that's what we're here to discuss today because I got news for you. That camera was too close. I put my face that close. Shut up, man. Don't start with me today. Shut up. I had just gotten that facial my wife had got me for Father's Day. So I was all in that like. Indeed. Indeed. Too Mad says you can get to know someone, but entering into a relationship is probably not smart. I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. I disagree wholeheartedly. But Too Mad with AJ, this is where we like to have civil conversation, especially between men and women. I will protect you on this panel. I won't let anybody beat you up for no reason. All right. I'm not going to lie to you. If you bring it on yourself, don't get mad, but I'm not going to let anybody bully you for no reason. So if you feel like you have the time and space, please come up and let us know. I want a lot of women to come up and let us know. Why do you think people should wait until they have money to date? Or I just mean a lot of money. So I've shown you the video and now we have a little bit of context. I've dropped the link for those of y'all that want to come up. What's going on, Anissa? Welcome, welcome. Come up if you can. This is okay for 20 years old. After that, you shouldn't be broke. You're kind of making my point, but I'm gonna get to my point, and we can see if you still agree after the fact. My man, Advanced Perception says, I agree. Everybody looks for a reason to stunt on somebody else's financial situation. This is something I see a lot of men doing, and I'm about tired of it. The biggest enemy we have in the fight for normalcy, the fight for our families, the fight to regain order, discipline, and control and structure in our society is not women. It's the men that enable these women. These simps, these arrogant, self-serving ass dudes. They are the biggest hurdle we have because we have to fight the woman's ideology. I'm not fighting women. I know my position in life. Get off me. But yet, the dudes that want to stand in front of them and uphold their bogus ideology, the worst part about it is that you're already violating. When those men do that, they're violating a critical male principle. You do not advocate for women against other men. You don't do it. You advocate for women silently. You can advocate for a point. In fact, you don't advocate for women at all. If we're the leaders, everything that's good for you is good for them. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Men should be looking out for other men so they can take care of their family. You realize when you empower a man, he builds families. If you empower a woman, she breaks it. That's really what I mean. She'll destroy the family. Women have jobs, women have money. Guess what? The families are broken. Whenever you were the one in charge, whenever you were the one empowered, you saw fit to bless everybody. Women can't do that. Only men can do it. If y'all ever want to, that, that's a little bit off topic, but if you ever want to know my deep thoughts on the situation, I have nothing against women. I love women more than most most men. I married a woman. I dedicated my life to one. Okay? Most of these dudes talking shit on YouTube, they haven't done that. So to say I hate women or I don't like women, that's bogus thinking. Okay? I dedicated my life to raising a family with my woman. She birthed our daughter. So I have a whole other young lady to protect in my own house. I love women more than most. That's therefore I know what's best for them. and me being in charge and in control of the situation is what's best for them. When I'm straight, everybody's straight. That's the way the men need to look at it. I will never empower. I will never empower a woman over a man if I have a choice, because I know what he's going to do with that power and I know what she's going to do with it. He's going to create a family. Have you ever noticed that when men get money, when men advance their life, they make their woman and life easier. They make the children's life better. When a woman gets money and a woman gets power, she makes a man's life harder or decides she don't need him at all. I ain't with that shit. And none of y'all can prove me wrong on that. That is a long-standing opinion, and I'm not shaking. I'm not getting shook off that square probably ever, because it's not even me. It's not my opinion or anything. That's fact. That is what women have historically done. All right. So male empowerment. That's why I'm a male advocate, or men's advocate rather. But let's get back on topic real quick. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see people coming in. We got 90 people watching so far. We're definitely going to go over the 100 mark. So I need everybody who just coming in the last few minutes to hit that like button. Get these likes up right now so people know that what you're watching in the afternoon before we get this panel started. I'm going to drop the link again for anybody that just came through and wants to participate in the discussion. Come on up. This is going to be a short monologue and I'm about to start. So we have defined broke. Let me give you the definition that I'm going with at this time. Broke to me is after paying rent and or bills, there is little money left for frivolous expenses, better car, designer clothes, fancy restaurants, etc. That is broke. I just paid all my stuff. I don't really got another whole check to spend on stupid stuff, to spend on the bag or just getting stuff I don't need. That is broke. I'm not talking about somebody without a job. I'm not talking about somebody who lives off welfare. They don't count. I'm talking about somebody that works for a living, that pays their bills and is responsible. All right. That is what I mean by broke. So when I say date, even if you're broke, that is the context in which I'm referring. After paying all rent or bills, there is little money left for frivolous expenditures. All right. So, as you heard me say in the video, most people are broke in their 20s, bruh. Are y'all listening to me? Most people are broke in their 20s. And by the time I'm done with this, let me know if you've moved your opinion from your side over to my side. Most people are broke in their 20s. Shout out to my man Team Fatty just coming through. Euro. What's going on? 10 euros. Appreciate that. Look, even when I'm on Fatty's channel and Lou's up there, and he talks a lot of the same stuff that I've heard. Be the best version you can be of a man. Stay on your purpose. Focus on your purpose. I agree. We've gone through the YouTube verse. Now I've gone through it for a year straight. In fact, it's my 1 year on YouTube anniversary since the first time I popped up on Sage Talk saying I want to try this shit. This shit look fun. That was last July, someday last July, right? So I've seen all over the YouTube streets people say the same thing Lou was saying, where he says men should be focused on their purpose and all of that. Yes, men should be focused on their purpose and not chasing women. There is a huge difference between a man being focused on his purpose and dating women. You can do both. I can walk and chew gum. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree. Because in my opinion, if you're going to find a quality woman, and this is backed up by fact, it's not a fact that anybody just states, but if you know how to read statistical data and the age in which people get married, you would understand what I'm saying. I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I can work on my purpose, go to work, go to school, and get to know somebody amazing at the same time. Yeah, sometimes if they want more, it might not be the right time, but I can get to know you. We can study together. We can go out when we're both free and we have mutual interest in each other. We can do all of that. I can walk and chew gum at the same freaking time. My man, Mr. Rich, for the love of the game, $10 super chat. We appreciate that, helping us pay the bills around here at the Lapeef Network and Trigger Mike Show. Thank you for that, Mr. Rich. But yeah, man, most people are broke in their 20s. Now, here's where I'm going to start to give you some facts that I don't think y'all can rebut. Not for real anyway. No one has money in their 20s, but mostly everybody meets their first spouse in their 20s. Y'all see where I'm going with this? Nobody got bread like that. You're looking down the tunnel at your career. If you're really lucky, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You can see exactly where you're going to climb the rungs on the corporate ladder, or exactly where this first position might take you in the future. If you're really lucky, you can see that in your 20s. That is not most people. You are just lucky to be keeping your nose above water so you can freaking breathe in your 20s. That's most people. All right. But if you have a job, if you're maintaining, if you're stable, you absolutely should be dating. Because even though most people don't have a lot of cash on hand in their 20s, mostly everybody meets their first spouse in their 20s. All right. And of course, they don't just meet and get married, right? They have to date and they have to court each other first. That usually happens with your first spouse in your 20s. So it's actually backwards to say you shouldn't date if you're broke, because the best chance for you to meet someone you're going to have a substantial bond with, somebody that's actually there for you, someone that you can listen. Let me just put this. This is a segue, because I think my barber said this while he was cutting my hair, and I was telling him about the topic today. A woman's loyalty is tested when a man has nothing. A man's loyalty is tested when he has everything. So you need to understand what woman is going to stick around when you have nothing. So it's best to get a woman in your 20s. I was talking with, so I know somebody that's famous. And he said until he's ready to jump up on the panel, I know a few famous people, but don't tell him who it is. But this is what this famous person that I know, I used to work for Def Jam, Atlantic Records, and as a college rep when I was in college. So some of those people are very, we still keep in contact to this day. His greatest regret from watching my show and hearing me talk about marriage and all of that, his greatest regret is not getting married. Because now he's a Hollywood actor. Now he's on a bunch of Netflix shows and stuff. Nothing he does is genuine. He was in a relationship for 4 months where a girl pretended she didn't know who he was. That's why he was so taken with her. He met her in Spain, not here, in Spain. He was like, yes, finally, somebody who doesn't know who I am. I saw you, Fatty. I'm going to let y'all up in a second. And said she let it slip that she was just lying in the 4th month of their relationship. Because now that he's this big millionaire actor, ain't nobody genuine. Nobody's genuine. Nobody's really loyal. Everybody just wanted Kevin Costner his ass. That's the way he feel about it. So the best chance that you have to get a loyal woman, if that's what you want, Fatty, come back up. I saw you back there. Is to do that. when you have nothing. Point number 2. If people are getting married at a median age of 30.6 years old for men and 28.6 years old for women, those people probably didn't meet when they were 28 years old. Most everybody all over the world will meet their person in their 20s. So if all people are broke in their 20s, again, I'll say, if all people are broke in their 20s and no one actually discusses finances, no one does that. No one discusses finances while dating, then how can you disagree with what I'm saying? Remember, I said, and I'm going to phrase this in the questions that I'm going to ask here shortly. He got to be a good steward over what he does have. I'm not saying date a bum. I'm not saying date a buster. I'm not saying date Pookie, because Pookie got a job sometime. But if he is a good steward over what he does have, he tries, he maintains, he goes to work, he's doing something, he absolutely should be dating. What's going on, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
Chilling, bro. Chilling, bro. What you got on the topic, John? Opening thoughts.
Opening thoughts is you got a great conversation going on today, but I know that it's going to get destroyed and it's going to get away off subject because
Yeah.
the subject that you brought up is going to be tradition versus modern time, like it normally turns out to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what you're saying is on point. I think actually I would even go sooner. I think you should get married in your teens to 20s, or at least find a person that you're dating in your teens or 20s and then rock with them, because I think the earlier you get married, the more you're taught in your youth, and the earlier you get married, the better chance that you will survive if you do things in order of traditional ways. But
Yep.
somebody's going to disagree with me because they're not thinking traditional, they're thinking modern. And I'm gonna land my plane here. And the problem with me with the modern day thinking of relationships, there's nothing to test it by. There's nothing to measure it by. There's no metric proving that enough time to like that it works. Whether you disagree with traditional views or not, there's enough sample sizes to figure out if it can work or not.
Mm. Okay. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah, man. Listen, it's funny that this is the topic today because in my 10 steps, ground zero for a man is the first thing I say is you don't have to be a finished product.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be, and that's the difference between modern, I think some modern women's thinking, especially in the black community, where they want millionaires in the 20s. And that's why the white women are on all those NBA guys and all those guys in those shows because they understand potential, right? These guys might not be rich now. This guy might not make it to the pros, but if I attach myself and they do, they might take me with them.
Yep.
So I said, a guy, you don't have to be on your, all you need to do is be on your square and have a plan. If you have a plan for a year from now, 5 years from now, whatever it is, when you look for a woman, you just want to make sure that she fits into your plan and that she doesn't derail it. By you having a relationship with this woman, even though you're trying to build, as long as she doesn't derail the plan, if you have a good one, then she's somebody you should continue to vet. And so, but this whole notion about being rich and all that. So I had my own anecdotal experience when I met my wife. I had just started getting my job. I was just starting to get into my engineering career. I was nowhere where I met her. I was nowhere near to where I finished when I retired.
Yeah.
In terms of stature and stuff. So she just built with me, and that's how it goes. And so it's right on point. And I don't, the only thing I would say is we don't have to. This conversation doesn't have to get derailed because it's true. And we
Well,
can stay.
you're right.
Anyway, that's it. I'll land it there. Yeah.
You're right,
You,
Arpain. It don't have to get derailed, but it will.
I think he's actually right on predicting that simply because listen, in this YouTube space, the short time I've been here, I've realized that women they don't say exactly what they mean. That's accountability, mind you. saying what is true and saying what you mean requires a level of accountability, and that's our number one criticism of them is they don't take accountability. So the best way to avoid accountability is to derail the conversation and move it over into their favor, move it over into somewhere they can win. PhD Diva came up here the other day. We said one thing, and the lady just started talking about the tea in China. And it works. It works. I'm even good at detecting it, but I wasn't good that night. I went right along with that shit. You see what I'm saying? It's their number one, the number one thing they do.
The night you did Carly Russell.
Yeah. I watched that stuff back like, damn, she just derailed that. Didn't even, woo. They're masterful with it. So this is one of those topics, though. On this particular topic, a lot of women are going to derail it because think about it. If you're not in your 20s, what I'm basically telling you from the monologue is you failed. It's too late. You might be old news. Like you said, that's the message they get from some of these discussions. So whenever they talk on these panels, I'm trying to figure out what they're actually saying. And that is what they're actually saying. Because to tell me I'm right would mean that they failed. And that their chances are dwindling, right? So they'll never admit that outright. My man Ali, what's going on?
What's going on, my brother?
I'm chilling. What do you got? Opening thoughts. Should you date even if you broke?
Of course you should. That's how we got. That's how all of us got to where we are. That's how every single one of us got to where we are, except for exception of a few of us. Just the nuanced talking points is just destroying society, man. If you care more about how someone impacts your pocket than the way they impact your life, you already lost. And the way society is pushing. The way this society is already pushing us, man, it's over for humanity in a way, man. Like majority of people are getting with people based on that superficial values about how much money they bring to the table, what traits and attributes they bring to the table. It has nothing to do with the quality of what that human being is, how great that woman is, how she impacts everybody around her, how great that man is, how he impacts everybody around them. And everybody right now, everybody just driving to get money. You know, we've turned into just a money world. Everything's about the money. It has nothing to do with the way our families raised us. They just went out to get money to invest in the family. Nobody cared about being millionaires. It was just about raising a great family.
Yep.
Hey, Trigger, I meant to say something earlier. Can I put that in right quick? Can I say this right quick?
Yeah, no doubt.
Especially for a young man, if you get married early 20s, and if you get married early 20s, you go to job interviews and you put married on your application, they take you more serious as a 20-year-old if you're married versus someone who's single. Married guys who are young make more money because they realize you have a family. So you would get a chance for better jobs, entry-level jobs, and they would take you more serious than someone who is single without any family responsibility. Especially in my industry, that is.
We got a hot one, fellas. Anissa said, not true. Plenty of people get married in their 30s. Stop promoting fear.
How does she get that out of what we?
I don't know.
No one said that at all. No one.
You see, look, I said it. I didn't know it was going to happen this quick, but he said it.
That's why you respect the traditional women. The women who with men and who operate in silence, that man speaks for them. Those women who are combative and keep doing that. Not true. Not all of us, but not always. They typically the ones that's single and combating what a man says, and they stay right out in them streets and get ran through. And it's typically like you said, she probably a person that's 30 years old, still hasn't found a man, still hasn't been married, and got to tell you it's not true to keep hope alive. There's a unicorn out there waiting for them after they compromise their whole 20s and 30s, and now here comes some guy who's gonna treat you like you a regal woman.
Hey, Cora's novel, what's up? She said, is it illegal? It is illegal to ask for marital status on the application, but it's not illegal for you to volunteer that information. John is absolutely right. So I wasn't married I was 30 when 31 going on 32 when I got married. All right. And I sneak it in any interview. I know it makes me look responsible. You see what I'm saying? And I'll just be like, well, yeah, I was helping my wife. But I sneak it in every interview. So you can volunteer the information yourself. You want to know how I know when that people try to tug on heartstrings? How many single moms try to announce that they're struggling moms that need help in an interview? You know how many people I've interviewed that do that in interviews with me and other women? They're trying to tug on them heartstrings. All right, we all got our tactics. So yes, you are right. It is illegal to ask, but not illegal for you to volunteer that information yourself.
I thought they
So
were
when did it
strong and
become illegal?
independent.
So when did it become illegal? I've seen other applications for years. It's been watching
No, not.
application.
I don't think she meant. Wait.
She said
I think
marital
it's
status. I don't think it's.
I don't think it's on applications anymore. It's on like your W-9. Like once you get the job, those documents. But I don't think it's on the actual job application anymore. Like marital status, unless it's like a TSA type job or something like that. No, because what it can
in
do.
The past few years.
So think about it like this. They laid off people in my last job, and it took me months to find out that some of the people they did it were the people that were weighing down the health plan. Like, you see what I'm saying? So people with 4 kids, 5 kids, they don't just do that stuff randomly all the time. Who costs the company the most via salary and benefits? Because they are paying per child. Like after, you see what I'm saying? So I was like, damn. Yeah. So yeah, they made it so you can't ask, because a person, let's say if it's a dad, if it's a man, they're like, this dude is married. They'll go on your LinkedIn profile or something, find out you got 3 kids. You're going to weigh their health plan down if they hire 5 of you versus a single woman. You know what I mean? So, or a single man.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that changed in recent years.
And they've been discriminated behind the scenes for quite a while, bro. For quite a while. This stuff been going on. All right, let me get the next question popping. Let me just get these typos out. I need to read better. So me and my barber were talking, and I had said what the next question is. Why do women focus on the finished product? Now, let me tell you why I'm asking the question like this. I understand what women want, and by nature, they are survivalists. So, ladies, we understand that much. You're going to have to get the best man you can get, the best man that's available to you. Hypergamy is biology. I get it, right? But when you're talking about what you want, and if we asked you for an example, you're more so focusing on the finished product of a man. And this is even something I've spoken recently about. I heard somebody like kind of being like, well, look at this family. You know, they make a reference to one of the families that we know. And look at him. The dude is a chief technology officer of one of the huge hospitals out here. And he left to go to another company. And the way everybody found out what he made was that his job was advertised. And they put the salary on it. They were like, damn, this dude make like $300,000 a year, plus all these benefits and stock options, right? And all the women were like, I need me a man that can do that. But of course, it turned into a conversation about what men aren't doing. Now, I asked that lady, I said, you know his wife, ask them where they started. Do you know that this dude, his wife used to pay the bills in the house because while he was in IT school, she was already a nurse? That dude with that job, they moved here from India, right? He was just everybody's a cab driver for some reason. He was a cab driver in New York City. They had a kid. She had finished nursing school. And then as soon as she got out of nursing school, started making real money, he went to IT school and started learning that trade. And they took care and built their family together. They moved from New York to Houston. We went to their house last week to swim. If y'all saw that part in my story, this dude lives in a big ass house with a lavish, they built all of that. They're in their 40s now. They met in their 20s. So women are looking at him like a finished product, acting like most men are supposed to be that in their 20s and 30s. But what do y'all got? Payne, we'll start with you. Why do women focus on the finished product?
I think you're being nice, because I don't think it's all cultures of women. I think it's black women for the most part. A lot of black women do. I know you didn't want. I know you were trying to be nice.
I am.
I'm not so sure white women or Hispanic women and Asian women think
definitely not Hispanic women. Definitely not. No.
But let's just go say women. I
think some white women do it, but
of course. I mean, there's an element of every woman that might, but in general, we see the white women with guys with potential and before they have a lot of money. So you see a lot of that because they get married in college. A lot of them get married in college. So I'm just thinking a lot of it's work, and they've been impacted by these streets and the talking points. Now I don't know outside of YouTube and this daggone echo chamber. It seems like a lot of women are focused on what a man can provide in general. And so when we start talking about provision, if he don't have nothing to provide, they look at him as less of a man as opposed to the potential that if they build with this guy. How many women we say they don't want to build with a man? Yeah, how many times you hear that? They don't need no man. I don't want to build with a man, blah, blah, blah. So they price themselves out of the market. And the market starts when the guys are getting on their feet. And if they were feminine enough and they understood how men are, their presence can help this guy move along without even pushing. Because men like to be able to take care of their ladies. If we find a woman that's upright and somebody we would like to take care of, we'll go the extra mile and make sure that she never have to want for nothing because we're going to satisfy that need, even if she's working. So I think it's to their own detriment. And I don't know how to, I don't know if it's up to us to break them out of that. I think men should just be looking for women who understand that you got to start somewhere. And those are the women we got to start choosing. Because and when you vetting a woman and she start talking about how much money you have and you can't take me to Starbucks, but you got to take me to, Coco de Chow, whatever the hell it is. If you don't eliminate those women off the bat, that's your fault. That's your fault.
Is facts. That is facts.
Let me land it there.
All right, my man, John the Baptist.
Yeah.
Why do women focus on the finished product?
I was thinking as Payne was talking and you was asking the question, I was thinking I think men and women have an intuitive nature, right? An intuitive nature. I think men intuitive nature based on the more logic they see, the more facts they see, they kind of move. You have an instinctive nature to move towards what seems right to you. I think women intuitive nature is mostly based on their feelings, how they process information through their feelings. So I think one of the reasons why they look for the finished product is because I think you have to realize what's feeding your instinctive nature. And I think what's driving women instinctive nature now is more so the aesthetics of what things look like rather than how the facts it got there. The data, the facts and data and sticks have it got there, the experience that got them there. And that's what make them look at the finished product, because if you don't know how to navigate the process, you can only look at with the finish line. And I stopped there.
No, that's dope. That was dope. My man Ali, you there?
Yes, sir.
Why are they focused on the finished product, bro?
I want to be careful with this and say that it's a certain type of woman that cares about the finished product. Not a good woman, not a divine woman, not a woman whose sole purpose is focused on the quality of her man. The woman who focuses on the finished product is the woman who wants a free ride and to come up. She don't want to have to work for anything. She don't want to demonstrate her value as a woman. She don't want to show how much she's invested in her man, and it almost puts her in a way where she can't demonstrate her value as a woman as well too, because she wants to come up. But it's two separate type of women.
Yeah,
that right there is fire. That was fire.
So Miss Parker says, also we are taught that a man has to prove that he can be a provider as well. So this I agree with. Not only does a man have to prove that he is a provider, I think a lot of women don't understand what a provider is. Because shout out to my guy Shannon Rawls. He said on King Talk one time, in fact, a few times, he said women do funny math. And for some reason, I don't think women understand that a dude that's taking care of himself, meaning like he's doing exceedingly well in his own situation. He has his own apartment, own car. He makes it to work on time. You see him keep the same job. These are the grassroots of what the term provider means, meaning he doesn't fumble his own situation to where he can't even take care of himself, or he's reckless. He has behavioral issues, so he's a loose cannon. These men can mess up a good thing. These are the men that you need to think in the back of your mind, like maybe this would not be the best situation to get into because he can't keep a stable job. He's funny with money. He never has money. He asks me for money. Those are the situations where we'd expect you to say a man isn't a provider. Not just because that he's broke at the moment, because most people do not have, well into their 30s, most people don't have an excessive amount of cash on hand. Right? You're building your seed basically for damn near 20 years. If we want to be honest, you're building your seed to maybe buy a house or make more substantial moves to get you to where you need to be in the game. But yeah, I would say that women need to understand what the term provider means. If you're talking about a dude that can just splurge money on you, then that's not a provider. Because I would challenge to say that that's what some women mean when they say provider. I want a dude that can provide me the things I want, not the stuff you need, the things that you want. And I would also endeavor to say that a provider is a dude that knows at the end of the day, the responsibility is on him. If you can't, he has to find a way. That's it. It's not complicated. He understands that he'll never get out the workforce. He will never stop trying to put food on the table. He will never stop trying to find work if there is none, because it's his ultimate responsibility to care for you and or your children. That is all a provider is. That's it. But yeah, what are y'all thoughts on that?
You absolutely right, 100% right. And if she wants some extra stuff, she need to go get her an extra job. Like, essentially, we should have our own things as men and be able to take care of our families. And then if the woman wants something extra, go get your extra job. Unless she's showing a different quality of. Hold on real quick, brother. Hold on real quick.
Yeah.
So why he doing that then?
Ali ordering food again. Here he go with his unhealthy ass meals. Goddamn. I can see drive through units.
So I think in this day and time, we need to get rid of that word provider. It's become one of these buzzwords that I don't think really women. I don't think most men and women understand what it means to be a provider. Because I think when we talk about provider, we always limit to just money. Well, you need to understand. Well, in order for me to provide for you, even if it's financially, you need to realize that you need to move the way I tell you to move. That way, I can provide up under the means of how I want to provide for you. I think most women look at provision as they want a certain level of lifestyle, and you need to provide that for them.
Yep.
If you're going to be with me, if you're going to be with that man, you need to be with that man how he provides in his financial capability, standards, whatever life going to be. You need to fall up under his measurement of provision. And I think that's what's so confusing. I think that word now is just a buzzword.
It is. No, that's dope. So that is really the way it works, though. You need to fall up under, like, if most women are not, well, damn, Payne said it again. It's mostly our women are not willing to live under what the average man can provide. And the worst part is that they're looking at the finished product and the gift of what y'all are supposed to build, that bond that everybody's looking for. It's done in the process. Look, there's a lot of rich people in my family. Some of y'all know a lot of rich people. There are some of the most miserable people ever. I can't even reference the study, but it just came out and said that Mexicans are the happiest ethnic group of people. So you would have thought it was the Indians and the Nigerians because they got money. Right. No, it's the Mexicans, and they work the lowest paying jobs in America and are the happiest people in America.
They're still about family.
It's all about family.
It's all about family.
The second you make it about material things, you fail. Go ahead.
So yeah, like you said, provision means different things. Now we're starting to see what provision means to certain women, right? If they have a lot of money, like let's just say Keke Palmer, for example, provision to her was the aesthetics that her boyfriend gave her. She always had some kind of insecurities about the way she looked. So she found a man with curly hair who could pass for white if the light was right. And he gave her baby that she wanted, who might not have those problems she had. And now she has no more use for the guy. He provided what she wanted, a baby. And he met her biological imperative. And if she was a black widow spider, she would have stung him already and killed him. Or if she was a praying mantis, she would have ate him. So instead, she doesn't know how to get rid of him, so she's embarrassing him, hoping that he might leave. And every chance she gets, she's embarrassing him. So that's her way of telling him he already provided what she needed from him. And the only thing that she's not completely burning the bridge, because if she wants another kid, she wants him to be on the hook enough so the kids can have the same father. And that's it. That's what Khloe Kardashian did. That's what the other sister did with Travis Scott. They, so the provision in that case, they don't need the money, but they need your seed. And that's what Ebony K. Williams is doing. She doesn't have no use for a man, but she wants his seed. And so that's her provision. That's how a man provides.
Yeah,
So
that
you
lady's
gotta look at
cap.
that.
So the only thing I'll say is that, listen, I will never let a woman tell me that she has no use for a man. That is a black woman thing too.
No, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying.
I was going to say, but we
agree
said
with
it, so
that.
I want to even address that. That's a black woman thing too.
Uh,
Everything is delayed because this is the sad part about that, Payne. This is the sad part about it. Women base their ability to even flirt and trifle with saying they don't need a man. They base it off of a job. That's it. A job and education. You can lose your fucking job. Like never in my life would I ever base anything or my attitude or simply off of a job that I could lose. Right. And it doesn't even matter if I'm an entrepreneur, everybody can tell you there's a time where what you're doing just is not working. It's not working. You're not making sales. You lost all your clients. They got to let someone go and you're the highest paid person. Like they're basing all of this off of jobs that they're like, unfortunately, this is why this is actually important to say that y'all are about to lose in the next 10 years. Every single thing, like they just keep adding to the list. I'm a part of a Discord group, and there's one guy creating a list of things that a prompt writer. He writes prompts for AI. He's writing a list of jobs he's basically eliminated and said he's having a hard time creating the prompts that they're telling him to generate, whoever he works for, because he's literally just tallying the amount of people that work in this workforce that are taken out by a code he's writing, a prompt he's writing for AI. And he's basically, all I did was ask him what jobs would be available. He said, you need to learn AI itself. That's a big one. So you need to learn machine learning and AI and all of that itself to be the most valuable. And then, of course, he's like, we're basically going back to the Stone Age. Everybody, all the men are going to be the people that work with their hands, the engineer, the people that can go out and build sustainable structure. He's like, machines can only assist them. Nobody will ever trust the machine to do it all by itself. Like somebody still has to move the machine and to understand. So he's like, the machines will assist them, but they can't do the whole job. Like a machine can't do a whole plumber's job. So it'll break the toilet. It can't show up at your house. So I was like, damn. So all of this stuff that we're talking about on YouTube is going to be erased soon. And that's going to be a sad day. But either way, let me get these 2 super chats read. My man, Advanced Perception, $5. Women focus on the finished product because it's easy mode. They don't want to put in no work and get the results the easiest way possible. That is facts. My man, Big Ant, Mike, you can't expect someone to help you build up anything with you if they have never been given the tools to build their life's foundation with you. Blame the parents. Oh, that is dope. That is really dope. That is unfortunate and it's dope because that is where a lot of this is coming from. They don't have any. Hold on, let me put that back up because the word that I'm focused on this one is life's foundation. They don't got no foundation. What do y'all think about that?
We put into. I believe in the days where villages were raising children, I agree 100%. Where a lot of us had the same ideas, where we invested in each other. Your kid went up the street and acted up. I popped him. I sent him back. You popped him. You ran out of sugar. You came to my house, knocked on the door. I need some sugar. And we invested in each other. But in the nuance of today's society, where you have the environment and the nation investing in the the deterioration of people, I think we can't keep saying it's the parents anymore, because the parents were destroyed in past generations. We have to take more initiative as a collective with the people who still have their right mind of thought, their right train of thought and heart to invest back in people. And we're going to essentially have to have a movement. I mean, I think we downplaying how serious of what's occurring in the world right now. I really believe we downplaying it too much.
Oh yeah, for real, for real. And Trey says them days are over for the black community. Yeah, not for other communities, bro. I see that shit happen often.
But it's but Trigger Mike, when you say that, we have to really acknowledge the fact that there's an initiative for all the races to put us in that position. As we are extremely powerful people. But if you don't want those people in powerful positions, I never understood how you could send a black children to sport if they got bad grades, but you can move them up to send them off to college on scholarships, but you can't invest in kids in education to send us in scholarships as well too. They purposely are investing in our dispositions instead of putting us in higher positions, knowing the power of black people. It's not a coincidence you got Asians. You got Asian businesses, Italian businesses, African businesses, Korean businesses, Arab businesses taking over all of black neighborhoods. That's not a coincidence.
Well, it's not a coincidence, but this is the part that this is the part where I get hung up on the conversation. They're going to keep doing it because black people keep allowing it. It's not anybody else's responsibility except black people to do for their own people.
Okay, Trigger Mike, when you say that fast, when you look at what's happened to the diaspora of Africa and here, of what happened to dark complexion people, what do you mean by that? As if we just said, hey, we give up on ourselves, as if this is not a history of us being attacked physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Well, I'm actually saying that is the history. If one day, like literally, I think we're fighting the wrong battle. So we're busy trying to get recognition. I think one of the harshest criticisms I have of disadvantaged people as a whole is that you focus too much on being disadvantaged and you focus too much on the person doing it to you. I think what a lot of black people I feel like are lobbying for is acceptance from the other group of their hurt. It's not necessary to rebuild because they're not giving you a dime. You see what I'm saying? They're
right, but what separates us from the next black man is our education. And what essentially happens is the educated black man either reinvests back into his community, or he takes it and invests into the foreign community, the other community. Yeah. That's what happens. And they did that on purpose. Yeah. Well, you can watch old movies of white men destroying African civilizations, Indian civilizations, and then they teach those individuals to go back and tell them to invest in the civilization. They brainwash.
And do you know what that is, though? Do you know what that is? This is why I don't really get into this conversation much. That's capitalism. That's all. What does that mean? That's capitalism. So this is the part where I actually like that ruling about affirmative action for colleges, because if all of the smartest, hold on, if all of the smartest black people only went to HBCUs and started giving back to those schools and only focused on black issues and creating black banks to open black business in black neighborhoods, this problem would solve itself. But you are right on the fact that they want to give all of their intelligence, their money back, for the acceptance of white people at white university. So they don't learn to put money back into the black community because they're always vying for the acceptance of others.
Because it's not taught. We contradict ourselves as men if we say on one hand we should promote our women to invest in the family and our men to invest in the family, and then the other hand we promote capitalism, in which it ideally is doing what it does. It makes the elite group of people, and it makes everybody else perish under that concept. Like, the point is for everyone, a certain group of people to have all the money and the rest of the people to have nothing. We know that's what's going on. It ain't about all of us having prosperous families and having access to some type of wealth or even some type of luxury or some type of ability to provide for our family, essentially to have some type of prosperity. It's for a few people to have everything and for most people to have nothing. And then we sit here and blame each other, but essentially we're investing in our own destruction.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I
agree with you.
Capitalism. Yeah, that's what I meant.
But the capitalism is the problem.
What I'm saying is it is, but that engine. So this is what I'm saying. If like let's look at every other ethnic group, for example. This is why I usually have the discussion like, is anybody Does the Department of Education stop black people from getting money to go to school? No, they don't. In fact, they gave the most to black women that they've ever given anybody, right? They allowed them to take out the greatest amount of loans to do absolutely nothing in school. So we got that. We can get education, which is the precursor to financial wealth for an ethnic group, right? So they allow you to do that. Then they give you all the tools to reinvest back into your own community. Do banks systematically, I mean, people of high credit score that are black, do they deny their loans, their business
No,
loans?
but that's the point. Trigger Mike, think about what you're saying. They'll give us scholarships to be, not even scholarships, excuse me, let me take that back. They'll give us loans to be in debt. And then they know they're not going to give you the jobs. It's going to be harder for black men and black women to get jobs while you try to pay off debt. This is a scam. They're allowing us to go to school and they're giving us loans, or they'll give us so-called business loans. Is extremely hard to get for black people. I remember my mother's Turkish. It was extremely difficult for me to get a loan, but my mom went up there and got a loan, and they gave her a loan right away for us to open up a restaurant. But they wouldn't give it to me right away. But they gave it to my mama right away. It's still it's still with redlining and the way they're choosing to give loans, my brother, it is still difficult for black men and women as a whole. They're going to give it to a couple of us, but as a whole, they don't want us to be in those positions. And let's further this, even if we were all doing the right thing. And I'm not saying, I want to say this clear too, is we keep hope alive. We're not supposed to quit and play victim. I'm with you, even though we're being victimized, but we still got to fight. We still got to keep pushing for our families. But my point is this, if the Hispanic opens up a restaurant in a community, the Asians open a restaurant in the community, everybody still invest in that. White man invest in that. When black people are open up businesses, any type of business, as a whole, racists do not invest in our business, brother. Even if we all did the same thing, it's a global warfare to keep black people, dark complexion people, Africans, anybody of that diaspora in their position. And we have to really see that. I flourish in my business, but I don't see nobody like us. But they make it hard for me. I have to pay. I'm always have to go in front of a board to prove I'm not doing something legal. I'm not scamming, because so many people report me as if I'm scamming. I deal with racist lawyers. I deal with racist title companies. I deal with it nonstop, and I'm light skinned.
I don't know why you had to add that last part.
You gotta add that part, because I get different access because my complexion. I know how I get treated differently than a dark skinned complexion person. You know what I'm saying? I'm light skinned, but I'm still a dark nigga. You know what
I feel you.
It's real out here, man. It ain't just, it's hard for us. So either we gonna go to war, or we gonna keep saying, oh man, you know, the black man not trying hard enough. Man, even if we get into the position, LeBron James, supposedly the GOAT, still has somebody break in his house and have somebody paint nigga inside of his house. You still a nigga in the coop. So it has to be something. It has to be a greater movement with us, whether we doing economic strikes. We're not spending with these people. We're saying, hey, until you invest with us, we're not spending with you. We truly invest in our own brands and stuff. It has to be a mass amount of movement. It's a huge movement.
Part I agree. See, I skip straight to the solution, because I ultimately know what's they gonna keep getting on black people, because the getting is good. That is capitalism. If it's illegal to do, and they are allowed to open corner stores in our hood, and they're allowed to do all that, they're gonna keep doing it, because it's what makes money.
I think with Derilla, there's nothing stopping black people from opening their own stores in the neighborhood.
That's what I'm saying.
No. Yeah, you know what? This is the problem with our elders. Our elders. How do you just keep? Hold on. Our pain. That's extremely disrespectful. No. What you just, it's one thing if you say I disagree. No. I don't disrespect. You do that. You see, look, I gave you a benefit of doubt, but that's extremely disrespectful to completely just throw off the point what I said. And you older than me. And we talk. Young kids come up here. Hold on. Young. See, this is what I'm saying. That's the problem. What you're doing is the problem. You being disrespectful.
Let him finish, Ali. Go ahead, Payne.
Listen. The only thing that's stopping us is ourselves, this constant victimization bullshit, right? How could somebody come from being an immigrant, come and open a store to Koreans and all that? Yeah, they have their associations. We've had chances to do all of this stuff. we're so used to being victims and employees and all that. So foreign blacks who come over, Haitian, African, they have a different mindset. That's why they're more entrepreneurial. That's how they're looking at businesses. As long as we as Black Americans keep thinking somebody's holding us down, this so-called invisible hand, we're not going to get nowhere. That's why I'm glad affirmative action is going. You know why? We had Joy fucking Reid, right? She gets on, she's got her own TV show. And to prove a point, she says her whole success was because of affirmative action. That means everything she did, this doesn't matter. She just got a hand up, and that's why she's on TV. Not because she's good at it, not because she stood above, she's getting that break because she's Black and affirmative action. She's lying. Nobody gives you a show for affirmative action. She's bringing in revenues because people watch her. And so just to prove a point, she's saying, I'm affirmative action success. Get out of here. She's capping, right? And before they took down affirmative action, she'd be the last one to agree that she only has her job because she's Black. If somebody told her that, she would argue that to her death because she would say, I deserve this job. So when affirmative action is going, now the only reason why she's there is for affirmative action. We got to stop this bullshit. Black people were slaves 150 years ago, 200 years ago, and we got CEOs. We got all kinds of successful Black people. How can that be if we're being so oppressed? So some people just keep moving forward, and they don't give a shit. You know what? You got an extra obstacle to go over. You go over that obstacle. And you go over it. Sometimes you succeed, sometimes you fail. But this whole notion that somebody's keeping us down is just absolute fucking bullshit. I can't stand it. And that's just me. All right.
Well, I'd like to say this to the hold on real quick before you go, Trey. I would like to say this to the young kids that's growing up. I do not represent that OG in no way whatsoever. I believe that we have to be very responsible what we teaching people. We have to be responsible of when we come up, we come back and reach back just like all the Jewish people, Arabs and Asians are doing. But one thing we're not going to ignore the fact that majority of people race-wise are not in their positions because of merit. And because of of how smart they are. Majority of people in their positions because of people being conquered and those people getting free rides into those positions based on inheritance. It wasn't based on no merit. It wasn't based on how smart they were. It was based on what was passed on to them and the fact that those individuals control over 90% of the land and over 90% of the resources. To say that people are in their positions, knowing that you know the history of Marcus Garvey, Mandela, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, knowing that a policy known as Contextual was passed to make sure that the Black Messiah was in rise. Know there's redlining, racial profiling, war on drugs, mass incarceration. What you just said is one of the most ignorant things an elder can say to any youth, to anybody. And this is the problem. When we come in positions, instead of simultaneously saying, hey, let's keep fighting to make a change, we do need to address what's happened to us simultaneously and what happens to us to keep us down. That's one of the most, what you just said, my brother, my older brother is one of the most ignorant things in the world, but you got it. You got it.
About white privilege, I'm talking about Black people doing what they have to do with all that bullshit you just said. Even if it's true, we still are where we are. How did we still have successful Black people with all that shit? You know why Nelson Mandela didn't die in jail? Because Black people got him out of jail in South Africa. Black Americans. Or else he would have died in jail. All I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter what they did, we still overcame it. And we don't focus on the victimization because white people set up all of these things to keep us down. And here we are, still thriving.
You know, I would argue that we haven't. I would argue that we haven't gone forward.
We're in worse position.
I understand where you're coming from, our pain, and I'm not one for the victim mentality myself. However, I'd be a fool to not acknowledge the systems that were in place to hold our people down. I can't ignore that, and I can't ignore the level of nepotism that goes on as well. I've been in situations where I was more qualified, and I was passed over, and it's a real thing. And as much as I have overcome it, the question is should I have had to overcome it at all to begin with?
Exactly.
And I think that's where we as a community, we don't want the victim mentality, but the issue is that we shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Exactly. Perfectly said, Trey.
And we've overcome it. Yes, we've done an excellent job overcoming these things, and we will continue to. Why? Because I truly believe that our community and our people, we're resilient. We've always been that way. We will continue to be that way. But we cannot, our pain, and I agree with Ali, as an elder, we cannot, you can't just ignore it. You can't just ignore it and tell us, well, don't play victim.
How did I ignore it? I'm just saying it shouldn't be, you shouldn't lead with you being a victim. I didn't say I ignored it. I acknowledged everything you just said, and here we are, still here, talking to each other. We could feed our families.
You did our pain. You still doubling down. You choosing. You being so disingenuous, and you still.
We don't
I
have
think,
to
you know, I think hold on, y'all. I think this is more about. So I don't think anybody's necessarily wrong here. I don't think anybody's wrong, but where I'm at with it is that after knowing the history, right? And what are the people? So I take issue with us trying to seek, like Payne saying, with the victim mentality and all that. But I take issue with them, or with anybody trying to believe that anybody's going to give us anything because of what has happened. It's not going to happen. And in fact, I'm giving a salute. I'm giving a nod, because what I'm doing, acknowledging, and I don't think, I'm going to give up a part of the game plan. I'm nodding you. You won. You're the victor. To the victor goes the spoils. Now, those same men who won all these victories are rainbow, and they've lost control of their own goddamn society. So now there's groups of men everywhere that's coming in to take this shit back. If you want to know what all these Africans doing in here, they got a collective effort to come take some shit back. All these Indians, all these the people on the West, the Hispanics on the West Coast, they used to own California. They got a collective effort to go take that shit back, because they've enabled laws. They've turned on each other to give us a way to use their own law and their agency against them. I'm not really gonna say that I don't see the benefit of yelling their wrongs back at them, because nothing has ever come from it. Right. So that's why I don't do it, and I don't really partake in it. Rem, let me come up on cam real quick so I know you're real, and I'll let you up into the convo. But let's get the next question popping, because that was definitely not on the topic we were talking about.
It's not, but Trigger Mike, just before you move on, brother. The affirmative action, all these policies that they passed, the fact that my brother even against affirmative action, I'm not even going to get into that. But the fact that white men still own 90% of all the land, still have 90% of resources in this country, so they're only going to let other races meet a quota. They're not going to let nobody catch up in this country. They know, that. And we sit here saying, we can still. No, you can't take it. They like my brother Trey just said, when I got out of college, it took me a year to get the job associated with my degree because of my complexion. I applied, and when I applied everywhere, but I got my first job, a black man gave me opportunity. And when a white man gave me opportunity, it was a black man that was a mental. It took me a year to get a job that I don't smoke, I don't drink, I got no criminal record. It took me a year to get a job in my degree.
Yeah, but I will tell you this. Let me let Rem up real quick. I will tell you this. There is no collective effort to go against them. So, most people in their meekness, right? Some people just want to exist. Don't nobody want to fight. But most of the things they hold on to is not because, I don't think it's necessarily because they don't want other people to have it. They holding on to it because they smart. That's all.
No, it's because we don't fight. It's because what you just said. We don't fight back.
This is why I don't like the convo. This is why I don't like the convo, because I come from a place where civil war has happened and people there's tribalism and people going against each other. There's Boko Haram, there's terrorist group. I come from that place. So I understand that, hey, this is not the conversation we need to be having as men. It's not really the one that I want to have. Conversation is, because if I'm telling you, if you say strap your AR-15s up. We're gonna go take some shit back. That's the conversation I like having.
Okay, me
What
too.
you- what you-
That's
Okay,
the only way to do
I
it.
was hoping you gonna say that. I'm with you, Trigger. Okay, Trigger Mike. I was hoping you said that. That's the
Because
only
that's
way to
the
do
only
it.
way we're gonna do it.
That is the only way. That is the only way.
In order to do that, that would mean that you would have to raise a crop of warriors, and that's not what we're doing. When you have single mothers
We're not.
raising,
We're not.
that's never going to happen. That's one of the reasons why we can't build our society the way we want to as Black people, because that would mean that somebody would have to protect it. And that takes a certain kind of person. And I'm telling you, as somebody who's been to Iraq twice and been in the military long, that takes a certain kind of mentality to want to be able to protect something. And that's not what we don't build those kind of boys anymore. Those days are over. And if that is truly the movement, which I am here for, I'm all for it.
That's what I'm like. That's what I'm about.
Trigger, do you understand that means that from the moment that boy comes out, we are teaching him to be a warrior? That's a different type of mentality, and that does not involve women at all.
Yep, I think that needs to be our primary focus at the moment, is the men and raising up warriors, and the women gonna have to follow suit, just move out the way. The men have to be warriors again, and we have to re-implement what it is to be men and take back, all the things
we can't even defeat women. We can't even defeat women. We talking about creating warriors.
John,
we talking about creating warriors.
That's what I'm saying. If we're not talking about, if we're not talking about the long game,
we gotta talk about the long game.
Force,
that's why we talk with that. Look, it's easy to go into women. Why we even fight the women? It's like we fighting the women. We need to fight the man. The man that's making the women. We need to fight the man that's putting the woman against us. That's the problem. Instead of going to women, we need to go to the man.
We need to fight them boys. That's what we need to fight.
We need to fight them boys. That's exactly who we need to fight. What you tell my woman she can do to me?
They controlling the narrative. Them boys is controlling the narrative. They telling
Rem, you got something to say on the topic?
They can be sexually liberated. They can do this. Them boys is the one that's going. Well, I promise.
Hold on for a second. Hey, Rem, you want to go on the topic? You see the question scrolling? If a man meets a valuable woman while he's broke, what should their dating courting process look like? Well, you got something on the comment. You got something on the subject. Go ahead, Rem.
Yeah, what's good? I'm listening to what Ali's saying about like fighting, and it don't sound realistic, because if you're trying to, when you say you're fighting, let's say you're fighting for Black people, most of the Black people are not even going to support you. So you'd be fighting for Black people against Black people. Like it's not even realistic. Like it's not like a physical fight. It's more like it's like a form of warfare. Even the people that are.
Hey Rem, my brother, look at history, brother. People within their own race was fighting for this. White men were fighting amongst each other. Africans were fighting amongst each other. Native Americans was fighting amongst each other. That is what life is recruiting people who think like you versus people who don't think like you. It is what it is. It is very realistic, my brother. If that's what's going to end up happening, it's going to be a civil war amongst Black men. It's going to be a civil war amongst white men, and there's going to be a civil war amongst races of men.
I could agree with you on that one, but Rem,
yeah, Ali, that's a good point.
Hey, Rem, let's get back on top.
Well, yeah, there will be a civil war amongst us. There will be a civil war amongst us first.
Yes, it is. Right.
Before we attack anybody.
Let's get back on topic. Hey, Rem, if we're talking about broke men and dating and courting, let's get back on topic.
All right, Uncle Payne.
I mean, I'm just saying we can come back to this, but let's get on topic.
I love you, Uncle Payne. All right, let's listen to Uncle Payne, man. Let's go.
Go ahead, Rem. You got anything on the topic?
No, man. I ain't got nothing on that topic.
I mean, I know, because this is a good conversation for another show. But I mean, so it's up to. I mean, we can chop it up a little bit, but if we want to get on topic for a little bit, we'll probably segue back into this shit again sooner or later. But you don't have nothing on the topic of broke men and dating and courting for what that looks like?
No, let me hear your view.
Well, I would go around the horn. Ali, you pick on topic. What do you say about this topic?
I think we should get to. I think it should start in the school system, implementing gender roles, and then implementing what a man and woman is and our roles to each other.
Okay.
And when you pick a man and woman after we do a upgrade on what a man and woman is, we should not be able to quit on each other. We have to go back to how it used to be. Soon as we commit to each other, it's just like when you have children, you have to commit to your children for life, which we see a lot of people may not do. You commit to a man, you commit to a woman, and it's no quitting by any means necessary. We have to raise successful children and raise great families. I think it's we keep talking, going back to dating process, but then we go to a courtship process. But what happens is, even if people engage in any type of relationship or ends up in marriage, people still divorce. I don't think that you should be able to divorce. I don't think you should be able to quit on each other. And I think that needs to be implemented.
So
And I believe
you're thinking about getting rid of that no fault divorce clause, right? There's got to be some kind of reason.
Oh yeah. There should be, and I'll take the penalty too. There should be a penalty for trying to leave the arrangement you put yourself in, whether it was right or wrong. If a baby came out of it, whatever you can do to fix the situation. And if one person is not, so the man's supposed to lead. If the woman ain't trying to follow, she's penalized until she's following, and then she gets in line. If the man ain't leading, he's penalized until he leads his family. We have to get back into a more national process versus individual process, where you're required to be a man and you're required to be a woman, or you're going to jail. I think that's to be a deeper initiative. And if we have to do it amongst ourselves, then we do it amongst ourselves as well too.
I do have
I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be schooling that should teach a man gender roles. I don't think it should be government mandated. I think what's happening now is what needs to happen. I think we need to let the weak fall off and die, and the strong survive. I think what we try to do in society is we always try to stop the people from making bad decisions. You're not going to do that. People, as long as you have people, only way you can do that, you have to regulate people's choices. And
That's what I said, my brother. John, did you listen to what I said before you?
No, I did.
You sure?
No, I did. But listen what I'm finna say though. But we're never going to regulate choices. This country would never regulate choices.
No, I'm talking about what we talking about solutions, my brother. Like John, let's do this. You my brother, right? I'm your brother, right? The main factor in that slogan of keep hope alive is the fact that we have to implement something by any means necessary. We can't say, oh, it ain't gonna work. Think about all the brothers that came before us where it shouldn't have worked. Think about the fact we did kind of transition out of slavery. We transition in the position we in now. We can't keep saying, oh, man, they ain't gonna work, they ain't gonna listen. Well, fine, they ain't gotta listen, but we have to still implement that. Even if it's me and you come together as a family, or me and you, Trigger Mike, we got our own little tribe. Trigger Mike ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing. Our Payne, John the Baptist, Ram, since we signed up on his contract, we pulling up on Trigger. Hey man, you ain't doing right by your woman and your kids, brother. You about to get smashed on, or you getting locked up. Okay, my bad.
We cool.
So we have to,
but
we have to get simple, brother. We have to implement. We always know, oh, we ain't coming back from this. We down bad, and if we don't come back from this, it's over.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's already over, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
We good. We good on which. Okay, like when you're saying community should regulate, I agree with that. But the problem with the statement that you made earlier when you said that we should let education teach our kids about gender.
Education.
Hold on.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, but you didn't specify that though. What you said was education. God, Lee, dude, let me get this out, okay? Because I'm only addressing the words that you said.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So now, because you're right, education is what got us to this point anyway, of where we're now trying to figure out what gender roles are when it was already established what gender roles was. So, but the school decided to go back and undo what society had already done. So what I want you when you said what you said earlier, you need to be more specific in saying, well, we need to educate our kids. Don't say education and leave it the way you left it, because that's what got us where we are.
I think it was inferred though. I thought I did.
I thought I said it, but brother, whatever way I need to be corrected, I stand corrected. I care more about our course than going back and forth. So whatever you need me to say,
I got you.
So we got to come together. We got to come together. So you know what? You know what's evident, John the Baptist, is that we so divided. I could see why, and not saying me, you and me in general. This is how the women play with us, because we play with each other, and not saying that pause too. It's the man. It's the man can't even stay on one accord. So the women go, look how easy it is to divide them and make them fight against each other. Like, we have to stay on one accord, and then they come on accord, because our women out of control. And it makes sense why they're out of control too. As much as I can't stand certain behaviors, they're the only race of women that have this type of disaster occur to them in regards to what they've done to black women to separate them from black men and put them on their own. Ain't no other race of woman ever had to go through what a black woman had to go through. So I can understand diaspora, not only of us, but her
In
mentality.
America? You mean in America?
In America.
Yeah, in America.
Oh, okay.
In America, Jamaica, and Portugal, Brazil, wherever we went and got dropped off, and the white man had, Africa was colonized as well too, but not as bad, but it was still colonized. Trigger,
bro.
it was still
I don't want
colonized.
to play the who. I don't want to. Have you ever played Who Suffered More with a Jew? I don't know if you want to play this game.
Nah, and listen. Who the real Jew? You want to start you ever played Who's the Real Jew? Have you ever played that game?
I'm just saying.
You want to play the real game of who the real Jew is?
It's debatable, but
it ain't debatable. We talking anatomy, whether we talking about anatomy or religious. Black man were the first man, so we got to be either we the children of Israel or we the indigenous man. Pick one. Whatever way you want to go, we still first.
We can play that game. We can play that game with them, but the problem is that they don't want to acknowledge the fact that our people were slaughtered and killed more than theirs were. They don't want to actually
even close.
And the numbers aren't even close. They don't want to really play that game because they don't want to acknowledge it. Because we didn't do what they did. We didn't get holidays and all that other nonsense and get months for it. Most
of this stuff is fantasy until you get to what happened with Hitler. Most of that is just fantasy. It's out of book. But when you get the UN and America engaging in policies for them to have a place in Israel and take over Palestinian land, then we can talk about that. But it's not even close to what's happened to us. Not even close. The fact that we built the whole country, the fact that for 400 years, in order for this country to get as powerful as it is, it's 400 years of free labor. It's 400 years of free labor. It's not even close.
Hey, Trigger,
see the stuff you're saying.
I want to answer the question real quick because, to me, when I see the word valuable woman, I immediately believe that her father is in her life. And if her father's not in her life, then her older brother or there's some male influence in her life. I think the dating courting process has to involve that older male again. I think that's something that we've lost. And I know, I look at all my female cousins whose dad was in their life. They're all married. They've got good husbands. They've got great fathers. And I attribute that to the fact that my uncle was there. He was present, and he helped them choose these men. These men didn't just get to walk in there and just, do whatever they wanted to do. They had to go through him. I think a lot of this is that, these relationships, there is no process where, you have to go. I remember the first time I dated a girl and I had to go meet her dad. I was shaking in my boots. I really was. I was nervous as hell. And I very rarely get nervous. But I was nervous as hell because I didn't know what to expect from that man because I was taking his daughter out. You know what I mean? And I think there's something there's something to that. We've got to get back to that. That dating courting process has to look like you showing up at that girl's house with flowers and you're shaking her dad's hand and looking him in the eye and saying, I'll have her back by 11 p.m. or there's going to be problems.
But what's going to keep them married? That's the thing. What's going to keep them married and not quitting on each other?
I know. Let me get this super chat read. I'm going to answer the question. My man, Advanced Perception, $5. Successful black people exist to tell other black people to stop complaining about the system. Meanwhile, they knock down the ladder they use to come up. My man, always sending stuff through. If you're just tuning in, welcome to the Trigger Mike Show. Right now, we are talking about date even if you're broke. The question on the table right now is, if a man meets a valuable woman while he's broke, what should their dating/courting process look like? So to respond to what Trey was saying about the man in her life, that's not just the dad. My wife's dad wasn't really in the picture because he was I don't want to say a victim. He was dealing with some drug issues. He came into the picture later. You should see him now. But she often cites an example, the male example she struggled for, but then eventually found. Her grandfather stepped up and her uncle on her father's side. She admired all married people. Like she was enamored with it, right? So to say, well, I don't have this in the house now, but she was very intelligent and was able to put together the differences in demeanor and femininity and all of that from the married woman versus, the house she came from. So it definitely is not only, you're right, Trey, it's going to come from a woman who has consistently had that male influence in her life. The one thing that women need to also realize is that because you're very emotional, having a man in your life, such as a father or another prominent male figure, helps you to adopt some of their logic. All women I know that have men in their lives, they adopt the logic of those men so they don't rely so heavily on their emotions. My wife talks like me. She don't know it. She don't realize she's doing it. She talks like me. She answers questions the way I answer them now. It's funny when you see it because it's like, well, but she adopted my logic because she has to give a logical answer to a logical question and not an emotional one. And because women are emotional, they need a man to step in and say, this is how you should behave more in this situation. So, you don't seem like you just answering, with all emotion. So that's what having a male presence can do for a woman. Now, what should you do when you meet a valuable woman? These dates/courting process need to involve family. Unfortunately, because women choose for themselves, they've had the ability to now isolate that man from the family for as long as possible, especially if they know they made a risky decision. I really love the way people used to do it, to where if you're really into somebody and you're trying to get to know them, these first few dates on getting to know somebody, they shouldn't even involve money. Very little money or no money at all. We can go walk around the damn lake for all I care. I literally just want to see you in the daytime. I want to see you when you're not stressed over studying. I just want to see you. It's best if it's informal. It's best when it's informal like that. People do their best thinking while driving. People do their best thinking while walking. Well, can I get some of that? Can I take a walk with you somewhere? You want to go get some coffee, do something that's in your routine? I can do that with you, right? See you hustle during the day. So I feel like that's what really should happen. So the dating/courting process should involve little to no money in the beginning. That's first off. The second part is that it needs to involve family. People like dating people for months, if not years, before introducing them to the family. The family need to be involved immediately, meaning y'all are going over there several times a month, right? His dad, or I'm sorry, he should be interfacing with your dad or another male figure in your life and your mom. He need to be over there cracking jokes. He need to be over there looking at pictures. Go ahead.
I got to interject, my brother.
Go ahead.
What are we gonna do for right? Like, that's for 16, 17, 18-year-olds, 12-year-olds. Like, that's for like people learning that when they're young. We have to implement something that gets all of us that's been jacked up back together to have children, to even want to have children or get into that process for the future generation.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do for right now? Like the way everything is going, it trigger Mike. Like, being honest, there ain't no families. Like, you had a family. Or Payne, from his energy, seemed like he had a family. The way Trey spoke, he had a family. But Ron, majority of people who probably got internet and Wi-Fi might have had a family. You could just tell about who had resources, who had some type of self-respect, who had education, had family. A lot of people don't have family. So when we speaking, who are you speaking to when we talking about this? Do you have to have a family in order for this to take place?
I would say the same concept applies, though, bro. I would say the same thing. So when we say family, does it need to necessarily be immediate family? No, right? Because one of the things that we notice that even without family, women still love to involve themselves in structure. So I'll put it to you this way. Let's say a single woman goes to college. She becomes an AKA. She's working for a good company. You've done the things in your life that traditional people tend to do. Now you've associated yourself with groups that were based off tradition. So even though you may not have married people in your family, you know married people. And one of the things that I'll say, because you're right, that is something that needs to be focused more in the Black community, to where if these people don't have families.
You and me were both in mental health. We saw the kids we were working with. We saw their mother and father that they was working with. These kids are growing up to be an adult. How does that philosophy work for them? Like, how does that
the philosophy works for them?
And I'm asking
they
you
have
this.
to more so. I see what you're saying, but they
There's
have
a reason
to more
why
so violent. Yeah, go ahead.
But it's a reason I'm asking you this. I think there's a big policy in what they were teaching us. Oh, that the kids are the future. Focus on the kids. Right? which in one way I can see that as a valuable thing, but we have to focus on the adults. Because the kid gonna be a kid for a long time, and if the kid embodies what the adults are, ain't no point to focus on the kid because the kid keeps going back into their environment and they keep going around those same adults. And a lot of time, kids don't want to deviate from what their parents are because they love their parents, even if they don't like their parents. It's like essentially a lot of people never want to deviate from what they're used to, even if they know it's what's good for them. It doesn't make them comfortable. So what are we doing to address the adults that are in the current situation now to get people together?
So the adults have one thing that they need to do, and I think it's the one thing they're most scared of doing. You actually have to, one, admit you need help and subject yourself to it. That's the part that they're really not doing. So I think the primary tendency of people that grew up without family is personal freedom and no restriction. Because when you get behind people that are structured, right? The reason I gave that example of that woman is like who went to college, became an AKA, and now she's around a bunch of married people. She's around a bunch of executives, people at work, is that you can find this example in multiple areas of your life, not just in your family. So what people need to do is start associating themselves with these groups. Everything that this is why I say the more things change, the more they stay the same. Women pretend to want personal freedom, but also want the benefits and outcomes that come from being a traditional woman. So these women that you know at work, the people that you're admiring with these type of outcomes, they're married, they got their children by the same man. You need to be getting your advice from them and only them on how to do the institution of marriage. Yeah, Mike, now, I will say they do need to submit themselves to it.
I mean, this ain't gonna work, man.
So Mike, so you can't just skip over and just gloss over that. You're saying what it should be, but what it is. What it is, we know that all these women you're talking about that want their freedom, they don't care about structure. If they did, it's long past. So how do you get two people? Both you and Ali kicked my ass for this last time we were on here. Both you and him kicked my ass. So when you said people need to get the help they need, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Mike? Yeah. So if I'm a single girl, a young lady, and a single guy from the black community, most likely from a broken families, both of us, one parent, mostly a woman. What do we do if we want to actually make our vet each other, court each other for marriage? What do we do, and who do we go to? Who do we go to?
Oh, I see. Well, my answer is
we can't go to our mothers.
I think
that's what I was talking about. That's what I was saying.
We have to go to law. Trigger Mike, we gonna have to go to laws. We gonna have to, like the way the Jewish people make sure you can't say their name or disrespect them. We gonna have to go to laws and policies to where black people literally cannot disrespect themselves or each other. And we have to get rid of the music. We have to get rid of what's on social media. We have to get rid of what's on the media. It has to be something. It has to be an incentive. And if the incentive isn't high enough, it has to be a consequence for disrespecting each other and ourselves. It has to be lawful. Like you cannot conduct yourself in a certain manner. The stuff that's happening in Dubai, the stuff that's happening in the countries in the East, the stuff that's happening in Africa, it has to be laws that have to be implemented. If my woman can be exercise sexual liberation, if she can be as big as she want to, if my kids and my daughter, my wife, my son can be sexually perverted, if they can have identity crisis and do whatever they want to, what is the incentive for them to do what we talking about? We talking about what we grew up from. There's no incentive. If my daughter grows up and I taught her to be some wholesome girl and my son to be a wholesome man, and they get out in the world and everybody isn't wholesome, they're gonna be like, dang, y'all set us up for failure. This don't even look like reality.
Damn. Nah, hold on. Let me read this super chat from Big Ant. Big Ant, $10 says, Mike, what job do Ali have where he can drive around all day and go to restaurants and get paid? And are they hiring? Look, man, half of my panelists drive all day long.
Hey, what did they say?
What job do you have where you can just drive around all day and go to restaurants and get
Listen,
paid?
I'm gonna do a live on real estate. I'm gonna show y'all how to buy and sell houses. I'm gonna show you how to skip trades, show you how to get the information from people, show you how to speak to people. I just go look, I buy and sell houses. And then I gotta go see my son too.
I'm the first one there. I got like a, I don't know. let's say
I
a
got a
disposable.
blueprint, Trigger Mike. I got a blueprint for the black community. If I can get a whole bunch of people to do the same thing, it's beyond billionaire
Hey,
corporation. Like,
I got like a disposable 40. Can I get in right now?
yeah, but you want us crazy? All it is would be just speaking, but just like having a conversation and implementing. You know what? We'll talk, Trigger Mike. We'll talk.
All right. I say disposable because I'm like, damn, do I really want to lose trying to learn some shit?
You're not gonna lose. You're not gonna lose. You're not gonna lose 40 with me, Trigger Mike. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, hey, I'm with it. Let me know. I was looking at my accounts the other day, like, ooh, everything paid. All right. What am I gonna do with this? Let me learn something new. Or trick it off at the strip club. Which
You
one?
can make if you implement anybody implement what I show. I can guarantee if you do what I tell you to do, you'll make 20K a month.
Nice. Off real estate, I'm with it.
Just off real estate.
Let's do it. I'm down. What's going on? Hey, Rem, you said anything yet?
Yeah, yeah. I'm listening. Uh, when you're talking about how to implement like gender roles, yeah, it seems like it's like.
Go ahead.
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, when you're talking about raising the young people up to be prepared for family, gender roles, it's like a cultural thing that has to be there. And if you don't have like a homogenous culture, how are you gonna do that in a predominantly white country? Because the things that you're talking about, it just sounds like people have like a identity crisis. So it's like who are you identifying with? What culture are you identifying with to even say that these are the standards?
That's important. That's a great question. That's a
And
great question.
but when you talk about black
That's
people,
a
yeah, when you
great
talk about
question.
black people as a group, yeah, if you're talking about culture and then you talk about black people and having an identity that you base your gender norms on, yeah, when you group all black people together, you're grouping people together that have opposing culture and views. So how's that going to work?
Anybody want to
Like a lot of the people that you're saying that you're trying
you Trigger
to,
Mike today.
huh?
They hit you with some real thinking questions today, Trigger Mike.
Like a lot of the people that you're trying to I don't know, educate or push for their like the betterment of their future, their values that they have are completely opposed to you. It's like you're
I
fighting
answer it
for
for you,
people
Trigger
that
Mike.
Oh,
are against what you're trying to implement.
let me ask some answer to him, because it seems like the what I'm hearing right is only people that got a problem right now is the American black people. Everybody else have tradition. Trigger Mike and R Pain, they talk because they come from that tradition. They come from that culture. Just like you said, Remy, same like you come from a type of culture with how your voice sound. Ali is saying, how can we, far as the black, the African, the American black, get on the same chord with man and woman? And it seems like with y'all women, let's say, other culture of women, they're not afraid of structure. It's the only time we can really get this right if we have structure. But our women don't want structure. They don't. They look at child race, Trigger Mite and R Pain, and they feel like that's slavery. You get what I'm saying? They feel like they don't. I, it's just if we get right, just like Ali is saying, bro, we can be so powerful. It's just
Let
our
me, let,
women are a little too far gone right now. And I'm
let me give
loving
you
the
an example.
conversation.
You know what I'll say, man. You know what I'll say to that is that even because I'm sorry, I was reading the email that came through, but I think I heard some of what you were saying. To say women don't want structure is kind of the opposite of their biology. They're only doing what we allow them to do. I would argue that women know that this shit is going to be up at some point. To get it, well, they're getting while the getting is good. They aren't stupid, bro. They know their behavior is destructive. How could they not know that they're raising the worst kids that the world has ever seen, simply because they did it without the guidance of the child's father, right? They'll never admit to it, but they know.
How
So
have they seen?
the issue is that the men, or some of the men in the culture, this is what happens. Like, this is the Sodom and Gomorrah fallacy, right? Like, what is your God? The black man's God is sex. The black woman's God is money. Right? If you value family and structure over everything to the point where you aren't sticking your peen in these women, no matter what a woman says, no matter what she does, the one thing no woman wants to be is undesired. Black men today aren't strong enough to make their behavior undesirable because it would mean giving up the ass. You have to love family. You got to love structure. You got to love community enough to say any woman that doesn't behave in this manner shall be shamed, and we will not fuck with you. That's the only thing other cultures have over you, to the point where they will cast women out. Don't ever come to this house again. You are not allowed at Thanksgiving. That's what they do to keep women in line. A woman will lose her family and be like, oh shit, I really fucked up. How can I fix this? That's the only thing. That's the
But
only
that's
thing.
what we don't have. That's what I'm saying. Not to
Yeah,
interrupt.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying they crave structure, bro. We can't say they want to be. They crave this structure. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off. But listen, one of the things, D-Town, is that, I'm American black, but you did pick up the intersection between me and a guy like Trigger Mike, who has tradition that with his parents that followed him here, or guys like Ikene. Because back in my day, women were more traditional.
Right.
They did follow cultures and stuff like that. That's why I have something in common with Mike, because I met my wife's father. I asked him for her hand in marriage.
Right.
And those kind of things. And I feel sorry for guys who might not have that because the men might not be around. It meant something to me to go to him, look him in the eye, he's a little taller than me, to say, hey, listen, I want to marry your daughter.
Right. I did the same thing, Arpain, and I come from a little tradition because I had me mom and papa. You know what I'm saying?
So,
So
so,
that's
so,
why.
our pain.
Yeah.
It's men's fault that
It,
women
it,
don't have fathers in the
No,
household.
I didn't say that. I didn't
Mm.
say that.
Here as it comes.
at
Here
the end
as
of the
it comes.
day, it doesn't matter what they want.
What you say, Tree?
If we lead, they follow. That's the end of it. They don't have
Yep.
the physical prowess. They can't overtake us anyway. So
So okay,
it doesn't
I got a
matter.
question, Trey.
None of that matters. If you just lead, whoever
Hmm.
follows. I've never been in a situation or any structure where a captain or a general or colonel asked me what the hell I thought. He didn't care. I followed. He
No,
made the
I get
decisions,
exactly what you.
and I went along with it. And if I didn't like it, I could unenlist and go on about my business. But that wasn't going to change their leadership.
And I think
What?
that's the downfall, is when you don't feel like you like the leadership or things like that, you can leave. In this situation, you can't leave or it's gonna mess up everything. You get what I'm saying? It's a sense of duty. It's a sense of things that, okay, I know certain things not gonna add up all the time, but I can't just leave. You get what I'm saying? Because it's a bigger picture. Just imagine if my papa left. Like, it wouldn't be this what we got now for my family. You get what I'm saying? Because I know that because my daddy left. You get what I'm saying? So it's like now I'm trying to do the right thing. But I get what you're saying, Trey. I promise you I do. You put your foot down, you go ahead and do what you gotta do. But women not looking at it like that. That's what I'm saying. These today's women, they're not looking at it like that. What was so powerful back then was our grandmothers and y'all mothers actually let that man lead. It wasn't no going behind his back. It was even, how
No, it
powerful.
was going behind his back, D-Town.
I get that, but this what I'm saying. This what I'm saying. Okay, the boycott. It was like, remember the bus boycott, right? It's a movie about it. Uh, One of the sons had rode the bus. Mama got on that ass. You get what I'm saying? And instilled that in him to let him know that we don't supposed to be doing this nowadays. Mama's not gonna get on that son ass. You know what I'm saying? Even if the daddy said something, or, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody gotta be in one accord. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah. What he's saying is that if you
I
grow up,
think I
if you
think that's
if
utopian. I think that's utopian thinking. D-Town. The fact of the matter is that everybody's not going to be on the same page, and there will be people who just they're contrarian. They're not going to go along with it. They're not going to want to go along with it, and you have to keep pressing on. I can't be worried about the people that don't want to follow my lead.
I got
I
you.
can
You
only
right.
worry about the people who do want to follow my lead, and I go from there. Everybody else, I hope that you follow somebody's lead. But if you choose to go out here and do it alone, well, we know how that ends. We've seen how that ends. But if you choose not to, that's on you. All I can do Just lead from the front. That's all I've been concerned with, and that's all I will continue to be concerned with.
Right, I got you.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah,
Any of you? How many of you guys are married?
I'm married.
I'm married.
3.
When you proposed to your wife, yeah, did you get down on one knee?
Yes, I did.
I don't know
Now,
if I
when we
want
talk
anybody
about
else.
culture, yeah, when we talk about culture, when I see black men doing that, it confuses me because that's like that's a white English person's culture. I don't like that kind of see these kind of things here. I think sometimes we don't when this is why I talk about identity crisis, is that we're not aware of the things that make us distinct to other people. Because when you're in a culture of like a West culture, there's this
D-Town,
kind
you
of
Oregon, bro.
confusion.
Now go ahead. I'll fix his mic. Go ahead.
There's this kind of confusion where the culture is kind of orchestrated in a way so that people don't see where the cultural influence is coming from foreigners upon them and what's actually coming from their lineage. Because when people talk about tradition, sometimes I don't know what they're talking about. Because when I'm talking about, if I was to talk about tradition, I'm talking about culture that comes from my ancestry and my ethnic group. So when people talk about tradition, I don't know how everyone can just talk about it generally. Because tradition to me is stuff that came through, stuff that was created by my ancestors.
Absolutely. So you know what? What I will say is that I have no idea if that shit is traditional in Nigerian culture or not. I was raised here, and I think what most people tend to do, especially in these type of cultures, is adopt culture. You know what I mean? My dad actually told me when I told him, he said, "Boy, we have ceremonies to do. We got to go to her dad's house." I was already in Texas. I was like, "Dad, ain't nobody doing all that shit." You see what I'm saying? So he looking at me in his head like, and my dad is a staunch traditionalist. Like, damn, I guess that's not really feasible here because it's not like you could just walk to her dad's house and ask for like, do the ceremony to ask for her hand in marriage. That's actually a really heavy lift to do all of that. So I think you're absolutely right as far as your point to say this is nobody's culture. We're just doing it because of what we've seen. Like we've seen all our peers do it. We're just adopting culture. You see what I'm saying? And it's actually probably wrong to say it's an American culture thing, but it's really just Hollywood culture being marketed back to us. We see our peers do it, so we do it too.
Yeah, but when you copy the culture, you gotta take the problems that come with that copying the culture as well.
It's European culture, though.
For example, when you get down on one knee, it's like that means something. It's not just like something just random. It actually means something.
So I actually agree with you. And there are things that we've adopted in culture that are very harmful. That to me is pretty harmless. But
it's very harmless.
It's harmless. But no, if you want to have a discussion about other things being adopted,
get down on the knee as a sign of submission.
Well, you're right. You're right. That's the only time that shit ever gonna happen too. Take this ring as I ask you to marry me and be with me for the rest of your life, because it's the last time I'm ever doing that shit. So I even like the gesture, right? Because when we take them vows and they say that word obey, your ass you gonna know what it
y'all
is.
See the video of the chick who said she wouldn't.
Yo, I
was
done, bro. I was done, bro.
And try it ain't more so
wedding over.
Like,
I walked off that altar right then and there. Wedding
over.
It's more so just take a knee like we in football. You know
my man. Let me tell you, there was a wedding. There was a wedding some weeks ago in Portugal. All my cousins went. This is like, I don't know how to do this second cousin thing. I didn't go. This shit made all those wedding websites. I'm sorry, all the wedding pages, because he's an anesthesiologist. He got bread. So y'all might have seen the video. This chick says, when the lady says for richer, the dude said for richer or for poor. She says, ha, for richer or for richer. They not even hiding this shit no more. And this is a bunch of Nigerians in the room ready, like they all texting in the group chat. Let me see this chick. I'm gonna whoop her ass. How the hell she disgrace us like this? I was like, damn. This chick yelled out for richer or for richer. They don't even
But
want to take.
I blame the dude though. Trigger. Ain't
No,
no
that's
way
what he
though
get.
a woman would
That's
say
what
no
he
shit
get.
but
like that.
D-Town,
You gotta walk
how can you blame the dude for the woman
he
pulling
supposed to
that
walk
in
out
front of
and
No, that's
everybody?
it. No, hold on. Let me get him on this. That's
Yeah,
his
I
fault.
agree. I agree, D-Town.
That's his
What are you
fault. Let me
talking
tell you why
about? I'm
that's his
walking
fault.
up out
Yeah,
that hoe.
So
What you saying?
my cousin is he's he wanted a trophy wife. And when he's saying shit like, yeah, I got a bad one, we like, you can't do that shit in our ranks in my family, because everybody gonna be like, all right, she pretty, what the fuck else she got? You don't do that, because you got to take this woman around the family. And he did what nobody's supposed to do. He kind of hid her from the family, because when in our culture, when you say I got a girlfriend, that means you bringing that woman over to cook with your mom. You can leave her there with your mom. Basically, learn the culture, learn how the women get down, learn how the women talk, know that they don't disrespect men, all that type of shit. They're indoctrinating you in the culture. He kept her away for that one reason, right?
Yeah.
So he deserved this shit. He deserved
He's gonna get what
everything.
he deserves sooner or later.
But Trigger, a lot of women doing that when it's time to say for rich or for poor, for honor or obey, they start stuttering, try to make a joke out of it at the wedding. So I mean, is there really the man fault? Should all men just walk out?
No,
Yes.
so
Yes.
yes, we should. And men have one look, the way they have screwed the world up. This is something I learned in the military. I heard me say it before. They can take everything from you as a prisoner of war. It was like POW training. As a prisoner of war, they can take everything. They can make you think your name is Goose McMonkey. They can do all of that shit. The one thing they cannot take away from you is your ability to choose. That's it. So if that's the one choice, no matter what laws they levy against men in our society, no matter what laws they make in a woman's favor to take the children, the one thing we have and they can't take away is our ability to choose. I don't have to choose your ass. And that men need to use that superpower wisely. A woman can parade in front of you all she wants to and say she's a bad bitch. You say, that's great. You be a bad bitch on this corner by yourself. I don't have to choose you.
Yeah, so that's the issue though. Men who get married to these women, it didn't just happen that this chick didn't want to say obey. She showed all kinds of signs that he ignored before he asked her to marry him. And it's just no way, he didn't see those, but he might like the box, he might like this. And for that, Ashton, that's his fault. He can't take responsibility for what she said at the altar, but he should have never been at the altar with that chick in the first place. Never.
Never.
I agree, Payne, but the thing is, I've been going to weddings since the 90s. So I mean, it's been happening since then. I can't even just say it's modern
Well,
women. It's been happening since.
they took Obey out of the vows, and
No,
that's. Go ahead.
No,
How did they
I'm
take it
agreeing
out
with
of the
you.
vows?
Basically, our
Don't you make up your own vows?
No, but they have some.
They got some standard ones.
They have some standard.
Right. But even if it's standard, don't you have to approve the standard? Like you want to say, like, oh, we'll just go with the standard vows.
Yeah, and the
Okay,
women.
so they didn't take it out. People just have allowed it not to.
You know what? I was gonna say I guess that's the way it's supposed to work. It didn't work like I don't think it works like that. People just say yes to a bunch of stuff, and then it's all inclusive, right? You just think you're gonna say it, so you don't go over, you don't pay attention to it. There's a bunch of stuff on the list for you to go over, right? So they're not thinking about vows unless they wrote them themselves.
No, I saw a lot of women saying that they thought it was a joke. Like, oh, do you think it? That's not the time. That's not the time for a joke.
No, it's not.
That's not the time for a joke.
You're making this vow, and this is something that I think, especially me being a millennial, I think that this is something that we don't take seriously. We don't take vows seriously. No. There was a point in time back in the day where a man was a man of his word. You could shake his hand and look him in the eye, and he was going to do whatever he said he was going to do. We've gotten so far removed from people just having that sort of integrity to just do what the hell they say they're going to do and stick to that. And if you're standing there before your husband, before God, before a group of people supposedly confessing your love, and you're cracking jokes, I don't see how that works. And to me, this painted a black eye for black women who want to get married, because listen, if it's me up there, Trigger Mike, I turn around to the crowd and I say, I thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys for coming out, but there will be no wedding today.
Bruh, I wouldn't even have done that. I would have looked at her and I'm like, this ain't. No, you know what? I would have walked out. The whole thing's sour, bro. And this is the one thing I want to say because as we continue to try to give education on these situations, I want black women to understand that the world is watching you do this bullshit. This stuff doesn't just happen and it's laughs. The world is watching you do bullshit like this. There is no like I don't understand why we tend to think these things occur and it's just a state of being. It goes off like air into the atmosphere. The world is watching your unruliness. And the reason, like, people ask all the time, like, well, why do you take these positions? It's because I have a daughter. That's it. I got a daughter that needs to walk these streets one day. And she's going to have to do the most. This is what black men and women should not have to do. If y'all ever wonder why there are some groups of black people that feel so adamant about making sure their behavior is a certain way, it's because they're trying to separate themselves from from the stain that they believe is on other black people. They have to be the best version of everything so people understand that they're just a regular citizen. Because when this is bad for most black women that don't behave this way. Now a dude got to wonder, are you going to pull some shit like this at the altar? Because that shit is embarrassing. Because we're watching women take a stance against shit that men do. The first level of obedience is not a wife, it's a husband. How do y'all not understand that we don't need y'all technically to take care of ourselves? We dedicate ourselves and our provision entirely to you. That shit in most senses is idiotic. So we are obedient to an ideal that says we're supposed to do this for our family and our children. And we do it for the entirety of our lives. That is obedience. I have no problem with the word obey. I'm the most obedient person in my immediate family, right? That's why I got the things that I got. But for a woman to say, "Oh, we ain't talk about that in counseling," you better fuck. Yo, I would have went. No, I would have went off. It couldn't have been me, dog, because it would have been an immediate reaction, and most of my immediate reactions are bad.
Trigger, I think
Can
it's
I ask you?
because they
Can
don't
I?
hear us say that we'll obey, that they feel like that we won't obey, and so they have a problem with saying they obey. That's what I think it really is.
No, women could never in their life be more obedient than men. They couldn't possibly. They learn obedience and discipline and structure from watching us do things. That's why the military is mostly comprised of men. That's why every position of authority is usually a man, because we obey. Like literally, I think it's in a woman's nature to fight back against authority and structure. They got something to say. All I say is yes, sir. That's it. Right? They could never be more obedient than us. So that's a slap in the face for real, for real. Go ahead, anybody.
Um, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
If that's so true, right? Do you think we're doing too much of personalizing for the men who do have structure and who do have principle? Because if that's the case, how do all these women got millions of followers? How do all these women got the OnlyFans popping? How do so many women got all these people liking their pictures? All these men taking them out on dates, having their ass out, having their titties out. How all these women are getting marriages? Like, we say all these things on the panel, and not saying all the brothers could be principled men and stand on that. But when you really think about it, women are getting rewarded for acting the way they act. And even if they do wrong, another man, so many men come and save them and talk junk about the guy who was principled. They'd be like, "Hey man, don't worry about that, brother. He should have did right by you. You know, you come with me." Like, and then on another flip side, we as black men keep talking about we in this country. We let all of the races of men in this black, especially the white men, exploit our women. We don't fight the fact that our women exploited to look like prostitutes, be ratchet, talk the way they talk, move the way they move. Our men move the way they move. So we say one thing in one hand, but in the other hand, we still not moving in that manner. When are we collectively going to address the fact of what we're allowing everyone to?
But
So this
so
is
Ali,
why I said,
how can you? Oh, okay.
this is why I say tribalism is necessary. Tribalism is necessary because the men of a certain tribe don't allow this with their women. The men that believe. But what I will say to the point is, it's an illusion for most of the time to think that men of an ethnic group are the ones that do this, because we live in a free country, so to speak, right? Women a man can never have more respect for a woman than a woman has for herself. So what you see is women of other cultures respecting themselves and exercising a bit of self-worth, not to sell themselves to be exploited. All right? Because I can do all the shit that I want to do. I cannot stop you from opening that OnlyFans account and locking your door and putting the camera to your ass and getting paid for it. That's a
Yeah,
self-worth
that's what I was
issue
gonna say.
that stems from, yes, a lot of other
No,
issues. Go ahead.
How can you stop? How can you stop a woman
how
from
can you
opening her
start? There's no rap.
OnlyFans trigger?
I understand what y'all. No. What I'm saying is who's supporting her. Who's supporting her OnlyFans? Like
How you
we can't. No. Y'all missing my.
No,
See,
themselves?
no.
I
Not the
asked y'all.
man she in a
Hold on,
relationship
y'all.
with.
Hold
Yeah.
on,
No,
y'all.
no.
I asked y'all brothers specifically, not to personalize it, not y'all two.
So
What I'm
I
saying
was
is
gonna
that when a
say
woman
to
opens,
that point,
when
yeah.
a woman starts to OnlyFans, like the culture in this society, you cannot shame women. You cannot
Yeah.
redirect women. You cannot tell women what to do as a whole. These are little small conversations we having on these panels versus what's happening in real life, where men are afraid to push back on women, whether she's a married woman or a single woman. Most women in today's state of mind think the same. They're moving collectively the same way. What Illa be saying, what that video that Illa had that went viral, they're thinking the same. But then when she can get a household, when she can be in a relationship, a date, and there's no ramification or consequences, because if she does wrong, 10 of us, not me and you on the panel, will come save her and reward her for her behaviors. What incentive does she have to change?
She
So
doesn't have an incentive
go
to
ahead,
She
man.
change.
doesn't. She has no incentive to
So
change.
here's the point, Ali. Women have an army
Payne, when
of.
you gonna get our damn names right? I'm so tired of you messing up our names.
Ali, not Ashton. I'm talking to Ali, not you.
I'm so tired you called me Ooston.
Yeah. Anyway, women have an army. Women have an army of simps protecting them. Okay. And here's the thing: we got men. A lot of men are hypocrites. We got men on these panels talking all this shit, but if we looked at their history, they're the same guys liking all these goddamn pictures. And then men who have money, right? Why is Zion Williamson picking, with all the money he has, why is he picking the ratchetest women, to date and have babies with, because he was a fool and he got money now, and he's looking at his fantasy girls that he can afford. And so, the men have always been sexualized beings, and you get to a certain level where, your self-worth can make you do more rational things. But men are men, and that's what they're capitalizing off of, and that hasn't changed. I mean, we could talk about till we're blue in the face. Some men are going to always look at women as sexual beings, and they're capitalizing off of that. There's nothing
So
else.
Well,
let me add to that, because when we talk about Instagram and men liking pics, we can't do that to each other as men. I'm gonna say it as a married man. There's nothing wrong with liking pics. There's
We
nothing.
didn't say that, man,
I
but that's not.
disagree.
Hold on,
I
hold on, hold on,
disagree,
hold on,
Trigger
hold on.
Mike.
I
Hold on,
disagree
y'all.
too,
Let me finish
100%.
my rationale. Let me finish with my rationale. All social media did was find a way to quantify what happens in real life. A like is a look. Didn't have men, either married men or nothing. You're looking, you're not touching, you don't actually have tangible access to these women. So men have always looked no matter what. So that's all it is find a way to quantify a look.
You're
Yeah, I see
deflecting,
you.
Mike. You're
Yeah,
deflecting.
yeah.
I
I
agree.
disagree. I disagree, Trigger Mike. And here's the reason why. Here's the reason why I
The
disagree, Trigger Mike.
attention
I
is
disagree.
currency, Mike. The
Yeah, that
attention is
exactly.
currency.
These women, these women
But
work
it's
off
not,
of these
a
women work
like
off
ain't
of
money though, Payne.
attention.
No, yes,
They
it
work off
is.
of
Well,
attention,
it can be. It can
validation, and
be.
acceptance. If that's what they're getting, then they'll take it, and that's what you're giving them in the form of a like. Think about how
So
powerful we would be
yeah.
as men if we didn't like any of their pictures. We just didn't like any of them at all.
Well, you guys,
You remember? You
this
remember
is
there was a time when
this is where
Instagram
I'm
was
at with it.
Y'all,
I
like,
get
y'all,
what you.
y'all,
hey,
that y'all,
hang
hold on,
Hold
y'all.
on, y'all.
Let
This is
Trey
where I'm
finish
at
real
with it.
quick.
Hold on, Ali. This is where I'm
do,
at with it. Because Ali basically stated the claim that they are leaving. I'm sorry, they are winning. I don't think they're winning. That's why I said a like is nothing but a look. Everything that they're doing in that particular space degrades their actual value. So it's perceived value versus actual value. Do you believe that a woman who is turning her ass around for pictures and who starts in OnlyFans is as valuable as a wifey type who doesn't do the same?
No,
At the
Mike.
core, no. At the core, no.
So,
Hold up, Trigger Mike. Trigger Mike, slow down real fast though when you say that.
Yeah.
That woman who's a wife, she might get a decent man. That woman who's showing her ass and her titties could be a millionaire. Can make $200,000, $300,000, get flown all. I see what you're saying, but
yeah,
it looks like she's winning in the nuance of the world, in the superficial world, not in the core. I get what you're saying, but look at what is the incentive for us when we look out for our sons and daughters to do good when there's nothing for them to do. What's telling them to do good except for me and you and Brother Payne and some people who grew up with some kind of culture saying, "Hey, be good people." What is telling them to be good people?
Okay. So you're a real estate guy, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna use the real estate analogy. Like I just said, perceived value versus actual value. If you teach them that these women do not actually have value, everything that they are collecting, like Coach K said here, they're collecting dopamine hits. This actually degrades their value. So right now they have an inflation of attention and they are conflating this sexual attention with real attention from men. They actually do not have the real outcomes. So even what you're saying, where you said they make 200,000, whatever, there are more women doing it, but the small percentage of them make money.
You missing my point, Trigger Mike. You missing my point. Let's say we just got conquered, right? We just got conquered by the white man, right? I go work for the white man. He's paying me a $60,000 salary, but he degrades me, he disrespects me. He can care less for me. He rewards me for working with him, right? But Trigger Mike said, I ain't working with that hoe. I ain't about to work with you. But you stay in the position you still stay in. You don't get the same incentive I get. We live in a country where people are rewarded for doing bad. People are rewarded for shaking their ass. Women are rewarded for showing off their titties. Women are rewarded for maneuvering the way they maneuver. Men are rewarded for leaving their family as well. If you want to be honest, they're rewarded for being a capitalist, having a capitalist mind frame. And when they end up getting women, it's still a woman that's not substantial, and she's superficial as well too. So she ain't the only one losing. We losing too, because the brothers are going after women for the wrong reason and becoming men for the wrong reason, just as much as the women. But there's a lot of money behind that. If you take all the incentives away from being this type of men and women, the economy is gonna perish, because now you don't have a reason to go buy things. You're investing in people rather than investing in material possessions and superficial lifestyle. The incentive is to be superficial. The incentive isn't to raise great quality men and women.
Let's also not forget that the men are getting a dopamine hit too. They're looking at the pictures, they're looking at the videos. They get the dopamine hit too, which is why they're liking the picture.
So this is why I'm saying the whole transaction. This is why I said as men, you have to stop doing it. The whole transaction is natural. Men are not supposed to have access to see a woman's body at the scroll of your phone. This used to be something you had to earn.
Trigger Mike, you ain't even listening to what I said.
I listened.
No, Trigger Mike, look. No, Trigger Mike, listen. Move the women out the way. Hold on. Move the women out the way, right? Let's say we just trying to be simple men, right? The average guy there go, oh, man, Trigger Mike dusty. I'll leave dusty. I'm talking about just being a simple guy, right? Yeah. Then we get brothers like us that's telling men, hey man, get money, get bread, get your own house, get your own home, get the luxury. And not saying that's specifically what we're saying, but we are saying that. Now you getting women because you got money. And you ain't even investing in the fact that you're not getting her because she was a good woman. You getting her now that you got money. We are saying one thing and then we're maneuvering in a different way. That's all I'm saying. The women are matching a man's bank account instead of the quality of woman matching the man's quality of woman matching the quality of man. We are contradicting ourselves and we hypocrites because we'll say hey, be a great man, but get money. Make sure you're a certain type of man. Make sure you're a high value man. Think about what we said. You can't just be a decent man and an average man and get a great woman.
I'll leave two things.
Yes, you can. Hold on, Ashton. So this is, you cannot be a decent. That's
you miss it, Trigger Mike. You meant Trigger Mike. Trigger Mike, please take Trigger Mike.
Hold on.
Just before, but Trigger Mike, you responded.
That is what's happening at the superficial level. That's what I'm saying.
This is what's happening in our regular life.
To go fish for a good woman in that pile of shit, then he deserves whatever the hell he gets. But that's not where that's still not
Sugar
where the
Mike,
good
this is
women are
not
at.
this is not all of us
Yeah,
that's on the
yeah, I
panel that's looking
agree.
at real look at all the brothers that's in real life, right? Majority of us when we were younger and broke, there's certain women might have looked you over to be with the guy who was already established and had money. We saw that. As we not the old school, you might not saw that. As we got older, we saw what was happening. Men were getting looked over. If you were a certain quality man, you might have still got women. But a lot of men got looked over because of the way we're being pushed. And the man go, okay, I'll buy into that too. I need to have my own money, my own car. I need to have some bread. I need to be able to furnish her luxury. We think like that. We think we need to have extra.
Do we
Trigger Mike.
really, Ali? Do
We
men
do
really
think
think
like
like?
that. We no.
I don't
What I'm
think so,
saying,
Ali.
no, brother. I'm not saying at the core
No,
we
no.
think
Yeah,
like
I get
that.
what you're saying.
We've bought
But
into it.
no, I don't think so,
We
Ali.
have
Let
y'all are personalizing the conversation versus
Ashton
looking at
go,
the
man.
general population. Most people are admitting, go, hey man, if that brother ain't got no bread, look over him. He got to be
All
a
right,
high value guy.
so let Ashton go for a second. Go ahead, Ashton. You got something to say? Go
No,
ahead.
I just
And y'all
don't
ain't even
think men.
responding.
No, hold on.
I responded to you, Ali. I don't think. First of all, I don't think men just up and leave their family like you say they are. And second, I just don't see. I see where you coming from, but
Who said men up and
you
leaving family?
basically
What kind of conversation? I didn't say
you
that.
said that at first, but you basically calling men gold diggers too. If you
No,
down with a
that's not.
man, if you down with a man, Ali, I don't think you will leave that woman that
No.
rode with you.
What
Like
I'm
let's be
saying is
real.
that not
Some
me,
men
you,
do it. I
Steve.
get what you're saying.
Y'all, I asked y'all to take the conversation out from us. Y'all keep talking about
I'm taking
us.
I'm
We are older.
talking
We are
about
seasoned.
Oh my God, I mean, Ali, I get where you come. I'm just saying, the men on the panel, the men on the panel, we are not no dumb black niggas. Like, let's be real, Ali. I'm not talking about the men out in the world. I'm just saying us 6 people right here. We are not the average dumb black OnlyFans
What
buying
I'm
niggas.
asking.
Like,
Okay,
let's
so
be real.
let's go real direct. When y'all see brothers in relationships right now, right in today's day, do y'all see them with great quality women, or is brothers they got these women because they got money? Being honest,
Everybody
y'all,
ain't
just
got
be
money.
honest.
Everybody ain't got money. But
Hold on,
I see
Ali.
where you come
I
from.
was gonna say that's my point. What we're talking about doesn't happen extrapolated out to the millions. It can't happen for the general population. The average guy is with the average woman. Right? There are now, to your point, there are a rising number of women using this superficial standard. Yes. But it's never going to be the norm. It's not what most men are doing. Right? So even with the
That's
back
not
to the light
okay.
situation and all of that, that created a what is the word? That created a completely different atmosphere and zone for debauchery and fake attention, like fake love to happen. Women are in that particular space conflate sexual attention with relationship attention. Even some fake ass relationships start off there. But the reason why I say they have no actual value is because 99% of them, I promise you, I'll find a stat, do not get substantially what they want, which is commitment out of that type of relationship. Women are just getting busted out.
This is what I'm trying to.
Let me say something, because everybody, Mike. The point is that when you started the conversation about there's nothing wrong with the like, then it kind of derailed your conversation, because I think a lot of times you're looking at the way things should be as opposed to the way things are. There's plenty of women out there who don't give a shit that they're not going to have a meaningful relationship. They just want the attention. And I think a lot of women, and the mix is different. A lot of women have always conflated sexual attention and relationship attention, but it's just more who are doing it now. So when men who are well-meaning, I don't think there's any big issue of hitting a like, but now that likes on an Instagram model is currency, and that's what it is. It's currency, depending on how many followers they have. To them, that's all they need. They ain't thinking about the validation of a real relationship until they're used up. That's why they're trying to come for a saver man when they're in their 30s. But
is that a man fault, R-Pain? Is that a man fault that a woman took the dopamine hit from me?
No, it's not
R-Pain, R-Pain, me personally, I like a picture just because I saw it. I'm not trying to get with her.
I didn't say it was
Okay, but I'm just liking the picture, just like I like any NBA video. If I like the dunk, I like the dunk.
Y'all,
It's not just liking a picture. That's the issue. It's not.
To me, it is. That's not my problem. Yeah, we agree. I get what y'all saying, but it's not my problem, Trey. That this woman that she cherished the likes. Some days I get 100 likes, some days I don't.
You shouldn't even be following at all. There's no incentive. You get nothing out of it. There's nothing positive that comes from following them. There's nothing positive that comes from liking their pictures. Nothing at all. You get nothing from it other than a quick little dopamine hit, which we can all agree does nothing for you.
But how are you? But Trey, I get what you're saying. But how is it a dopamine hit for me when I just show love? That's it. I show love and go about my day. Because when I get off Facebook and Instagram, I don't think about Facebook and Instagram.
Out of looking at the picture. You got pleasure out of watching the video. That's why you like it.
I think y'all talking about simps. Y'all comparing simps to real men. I get what y'all saying.
This has nothing to do with simps. I'm talking about men who like pictures.
Let me say this for context, because a lot of women use Instagram and what's going on there as a justification for their bad behavior. Let me explain.
They're marketed.
Exactly. Well, they're using the like against men to say, well, we're just doing and wearing clothes because men like this shit on Instagram. Well, we're just out here thotting because men like the thoughts on Instagram. Now, let me give you a stat that I just pulled up while y'all were talking. Only 15.2% of any Instagram has billions of users. Only 15.2% of them have 10K to 50K followers. Only 3% of them have 50K to 100K. And 0.62% have 500K to $1 million. This is not most women out here receiving this type of attention. Man, they are basing their bad behavior off they see the most scantily clad, the most popular women get. Right? It's not really something that happens. That's why I say when you go down to the ground floor of things, the people who actually want substantial relationships and pain, the part where I disagree is that all this stuff that we're saying is outside of a woman's nature. Of course, they want substantial relationships. They just want to extend their whole phase 15 years and still be eligible for one when they're ready. That's the difference.
Y'all, why do y'all forget our first, like us as young men and what we were doing? We were forget social media. We were contacted. Hold on. We were going after the average woman, the higher woman. They're popping your phones where you woke up in the morning and sent the same message about 20, 30 women. Why are we pretending like women don't get so?
But that's as kids though, Ali. That's as kids. Y'all move so fast to respond.
I ain't do that.
That's the kids, Ali.
We did this.
I liked and I inboxed what I wanted. But if me just liking a picture is me liking a picture.
If you lie on this thing, I'm gonna expose you as a hoe you was before you got married. Don't even do that. That was you, Ali. No, you was a hoe too, Trigger Mike. And if you got divorced, you go right back into being a hoe.
R-Pain cheese.
Wait up. So, hold up.
And R-Pain was a hoe too. Hold on.
5.
Yo, why y'all lying on here, man? Stop this. God dang, man.
Ali. So,
y'all slow down. When we young, we were going after everything. And not only that, as we started getting more resources, we were like, you know what? We looking at TV, the media, social media, and everything is pushing us to get beautiful women. So when men start going after beautiful women instead of just a good woman, same thing for women. What they watching? I want a high value man with money. I don't want just some decent good guy. What is that? I think they think they're 10, but they think they're 10 because they get so much advances, and social media has blew it out the ballpark. Now that they get advances, Ashton, let me ask you honest truth. Let me see if you're gonna be honest.
Okay.
And Trigger Mike, all the man is honest on here, right?
I ain't gonna fake it with you, Ali. I ain't gonna fake it with you.
If y'all not married and you like the certain woman's picture on Instagram, if she hit you and said, "What's up? Come over," are you going over there to hit it?
No.
You damn right.
Yeah. Oh man, Trigger Mike, you a liar, man. Man, yo, see, this is what I'm talking about, Trigger Mike. Women know. Hold on. Watch this. Watch. Let me finish. If you look at women's behaviors, even if they got a man, they're using social media as a way to market themselves and look at their options. They only follow the options. They don't never respond back to the guys they're not interested in, but they'll respond back and keep the guys close that they're interested in, even if they have somebody. So if they get a like All those likes are an option they can possibly get something from. Women know that. That's how dumb. If we're gonna be disingenuous on here, that's fine. But if you took your time to like a pic of a woman or like her story, she knows that there's a capability that you'll make an advance to her and she can get you. Can we be honest about that?
But
No, that's true.
but Ali, you
That's
just said she made the
yeah.
advance to me. So, but
That's
me
what I'm
like,
saying.
No. Who's that talking?
okay, I get what you're saying.
That's why I
That's
said no.
Ashton.
I'm gonna think
I
Ashton,
get what you're
if
saying,
you
Ali.
like, if you like,
But
hold on, Trigger Mike. Ashton, if you like a girl, right?
Damn.
you breaking up, Ali. Hold on.
Yeah, you breaking up, Ali. I thought it was me.
Listen, social media for men should be used for family and for business. All that other stuff is nonsense.
Can
All
y'all
that,
hear
yeah,
me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Ali.
What I'm saying is, brothers, being realistic. When men are out here liking and showing not showing interest, you ain't got to say nothing. The women know that you liked it. They feel in their mind, and they know that they're capable of having an interaction with you. And they can get you to come out and see them. They can come out possibly to get you to do something for them. We got to be honest about that. If you liked her, she feel like, hey, I can get something out of him. This is a guy that's interested. Just like we do. Be honest, when a girl likes one of your pictures or she comments,
Yeah, I feel sexy for the day. I feel sexy,
know,
but
it's like
I know I
it's an
probably can't hit
option.
it. I know
But
she
you
probably
feel
got a man.
But you feel like it's an option even if she has a man. Even if she goes out our way to like your pic or comments. We know how we use the social media, y'all. Why are we ignoring how social media is being used?
Because everybody don't use it like that. I leave that. That's like saying.
Ashton,
Okay.
stop doing it. We're not talking
Okay.
about the minority. We're talking about, for the most part, the way it's being used. People get to see who's interested. People get to see who will make an advance. People get to weigh out their options.
Okay, but Ali, I'm telling you that I don't do it for that now. Like we
I
grown
didn't say
men.
you do.
If I like
Oh
them,
my God, Ali,
I get what you say. I get what you're saying.
Ashton,
But
stop making
Ali,
about you.
oh my God, oh my. Okay, you right. Everybody not like me. You right,
Damn.
Ali. But I'm just saying. Us is see.
And you
I don't
lying
see.
anyway. You lying, but you still lying though. Because if a girl, if you
How?
show
I told you. If she inbox me, I'ma hit it. I told you I'ma hit it if she inbox me.
And so with our
That was
pain,
Trigger Mike who say he won.
and so with Trey, and so with me possibly, and so with, if you were single, if you liked it, especially Trigger Mike.
Man, I'm about done with Ali and telling me I'm gonna hit something.
We be lying. Yo, why we lie too, man? We lie, they lie. That's our problem. All of us
So
lie.
what's
So it don't
next,
even
man?
matter.
I'm not lying.
And our pain want to go to the next
Hey,
page.
Trigger, Trigger, he too passionate. I think Ali got a couple
Because we
OnlyFans
lie.
subscriptions.
Nah, because we lie.
He too passionate about this. He too passionate, our pain. What you think?
We lie.
I think he got a couple of
women,
OnlyFans subscriptions.
man,
No,
y'all love
He too
women.
passionate.
No, I'm too honest. Y'all love women and act like you don't love women.
Actually,
who gonna say we don't love?
the most OnlyFans subscriptions come from married men. So there's that.
Trigger Mike.
Hey,
I love
Ali
that.
married.
Trigger Mike.
You just proved my point. You just proved my point. You just proved my point. That's what I said. All of this is based around what men have always done. It's just a way for it to be quantified now. Right? I can look, I can't touch shit. Who gonna look more than somebody who can't touch nothing?
That ain't the point, Trigger Mike. That ain't the point. Y'all make points that ain't no point. That ain't the point.
Let me ask Mike. Let me ask you. I don't know if you got another topic, but can I interject one a little bit? Something I think is related, and maybe the broke man can't handle this. Melly Monaco said, "Hell with the bullshit. Just pay the chick to get some buys." And she broke it down like, if you want to go on a date, it's going to cost you this much. If she got a kid, it's going to cost you this for the babysitter. She said, why don't you just go to the honey and say, listen, why don't I just give you the money and we just cut to the chase and just go and just give me the box? Melly, Melly Monaco, right? The Pineapple Show. This chick.
Ask her how many times she's been paid for sex.
Man, that's what I want to know now.
Saying it, I would imagine that
and Trey, they still simping. They still simping for her. You know she been getting run through, and men still over there simping her.
My point is why do we listen to women when they want to give us advice about dating?
100%, I agree.
I missed that, Trey. I missed that.
Said these hoes be lying. Don't listen to him. That's what he said.
That's what he's saying.
Well, I mean, we don't have to go down that segment, but I thought it was interesting because some people are covering the fact that she said, listen, instead of worrying about this with the chick, why don't you just go to her and make a proposition? You know, as opposed to going through the dating process and all that, especially if the woman wants to smash, right? Because if it's a woman who don't like you, right? If she doesn't like you that way and she's going to use you as a foodie date, she's going to automatically turn down that proposal. And we all know that a woman generally knows she wants to sleep with you the first time she sees you. If she's
R-Pain, you do know that's illegal. You do know it's illegal, right?
no, but I mean, listen, I'm just saying.
Officer Trey.
I'm just saying.
You're promoting illegal activity.
R-Pain promoting that old man. R-Pain promoting that sugar daddy culture.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew you was a sugar daddy, R-Pain. Just go ahead and pay her, dog. Just go ahead and pay her.
What I heard?
That young lady.
You know what I heard? That number one line is the sugar daddy line. Are you cared for? Hold on. You know what the number one sugar daddy line is? They be like, "Are you cared for? Is somebody taking care of you?" That's gonna work.
R-Pain and sugar daddy. Look at the sugar daddy over there.
Sugar daddy. I'm just
trying to normalize what you doing, R-Pain. I knew that's what you dirty dog. I knew that's what you was doing.
Tell us what the number one sugar daddy line is. How they make themselves known. All right, y'all give me final thoughts on the topic, man. Let me take my family to dinner.
Okay, listen, real quick. I'll be real quick. I think that, you know, don't wait till you're at the finish line to start dating. You got to hone your skills as well. You know, go out there. You know. Now you guys have social media. Back in my day, man, we had to go up to a woman and say hello. We had to face the rejection. We had to face all of that face to face. There was no apps. You know, and I guess, you know, to tell you the truth, you develop thick skin based on that. And anybody who's been to a party and you walked across the room and tried to ask that fine chick to dance and she said no, every other woman in that room saw you get rejected. You weren't dancing.
Damn.
You ain't getting to dance that record. You got to wait for the next one. So when you get that thick skin, you know, then you could go ahead and face the rejection you're going to face until you stop getting rejected. And then you'll start being on your purpose. You'll have something to say and offer and all that kind of stuff. So for that, you know, I just think, for me, I said this before, I don't think the nature of women has changed. It's just that the tools they use and abuse have changed, and culture and environment has unleashed them. And it's up to men to understand their nature and act accordingly. And that's it.
All right, anybody else? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go real quick. And for me, one of the biggest mistakes I made was not marrying a woman when I was dead broke. I think when I look back at it, this woman was there for me. She helped me out. Hell, she even paid a security deposit for me in an apartment when I moved to Myrtle Beach. I was chasing my little golf dream. So, and one of the biggest mistakes I made was not marrying that woman, because she showed that she was with me, you know, when I had nothing. And now, you know, making a little bit of money, doing well in the stock market, and retiring at 35 and whatnot, I've become more selective. It's actually, I think it's working against me, because now it's harder for me to trust a woman. Why are you actually here? Do you have any ulterior motives? My vetting process has got to be damn near perfect, or else I'm gonna get played. You know what I mean? So I think it's actually worked against me. I would tell younger guys not to wait until you get to the finish line. And if you do happen to come across a good woman while you don't have anything, and again, I'm emphasizing good woman, right? If you happen to come across a good woman while you don't have anything, I think you should go ahead. You're gonna take the plunge. I think that's the time to take the plunge. I wouldn't wait until you get wealthy or successful.
Very good.
All right.
I agree with you.
Real quick. Let me get these super chats read real quick. My man, Big Ant, $10. Oh. BZ, $5. I'm trying to hear that blueprint, Ali. Put me on game. I'll pay. You know what? We'll do the Ali class on the Trigger Mike show if you want to do it. Perry Unlikely, $5. Or on his own channel. He got his own channel. Y'all check him out. $5. Taking a knee represents respect, loyalty, and an offer of service. Knights used to do it. It also represents raising her position. I don't know why I was obsessed with night movies when I was coming up. I loved all them shit. A Night Tale, night. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. That one right there. Big Ant, $10. The problem started when people on social media started thinking that getting a like on something means that I actually like you as a person. Reality is a place incomplete people fear.
That's all
Man,
right.
they are incomplete. Thank y'all for those super chats. Who else got final thoughts before we get out of here?
Until we address the United States of America and the nation that we in, and we address what they're feeding into the hearts of men and women, and what they're showcasing and demonstrating and promoting, all our relationships are going to continue to fail. And I think we're still at a surface level, still acting as if we give some kind of discuss some topics and do some talking points, and not no disrespect to my brothers as well too. Until we address the core of what's happening to us and the fact that our nature, our humanity, our customs, and original culture does not has no connection to the people of this nation, and no disrespect to those people as well too. Until we address what's being fed into us, we're going to continue to be in failed relationships. Until we do that, ain't no reason to talk about no courting and no dating until we improve the state of humanity and people by what's being.
All right. Hey, man, that was dope. Thank y'all for coming to the trigger. Oh, shit. My man, Shike Auto. LLC, $5. Tell Trey come to Africa. My sister will take care of you. You don't want to know the craziest thing?
Look, I was in Ghana in January, man, and I want to go back. So, what
I was
part
going
of
to say, he not lying either. Oh, shit, that's crazy. I appreciate that. Yo,
Hey,
my
Trigger
son
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Trigger Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, one more thing. If you need a sugar daddy, hit up our pain.
I personally want to take that R-Pain.
You can have whatever you
Oh,
like.
wow. All right, fellas. I'm hungry as shit. Let me go get a nice burger and some fries from this spot, man. Thank y'all for coming through today, man, to the Trigger Mike Show. Dope show as always. Thanks to everybody on the panel and in the chat. Thank you for your super chats. Tonight, we got a chic critique. If you have not already, go over to the Lapeef Experience channel and subscribe to that channel. That channel is dope. You will get other Lapeef content on that show. All right. Tonight, we got a chic critique show. I will be on that show. If you are a Trigger Mike fan or you just a hater of Trigger Mike, come and hate on me. Okay. So I'll be over there talking shit as I usually do. So make sure y'all come over there as we turn up with our sisters over there on a Chic Critique, one of my favorite shows on YouTube, most definitely. All right, so definitely trying to get those numbers up. That's a quality show. The Lapeef Experience is also a quality channel. So make sure if you have not, go over to the Lapeef Experience, type that in the search box right now, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. The Chic Critique will be on the Lapeef Experience channel tonight. That starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. So I'll see y'all over there. Let me get this last super chat. Chike Auto says, I will make sure my sister take care of you, Trey. He's not lying. He's not lying. All right, we getting out of here, y'all. I'm out. I'm hungry as I don't know. I don't even know. We out though. Peace.